no stopping us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I'll be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Shooting stars. Didn't even get to cross. Moving too far, get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad, I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I'd be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast, didn't even get to glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon, rock like kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When that's enough, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When that's enough, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shoot. Yeah, shoot. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars. Didn't even get to cross.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away? Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away?
What's happening, people? Welcome back to Tottenham Away Monday night, the best place to be in town if you're a Spurs fan. If you don't support Tottenham, as always, we welcome you too. As you can see, Iggy's not here this week, but stepping in, we've got Matt Copen, one of our own. Mari, I think might come later. Will, I'm not too sure. But anyway, let's quickly say hello to the panel tonight. Believe it or not, as always, Spurs haven't played any football, but yet there's still plenty to talk about because that's what Tottenham do to you. And we've got a massive game to talk about coming up this weekend and a few big games happening midweek involving other clubs. But before we get cracking, JP, how you doing, bro?
Yeah, what's happening, man? All good. As you said, I thought I'd have a nice, peaceful weekend. No football, nothing to get gassed about, nothing to get miserable about. And there you go. You get Udogie news come out. What? Where did that come from? Okay, now. But yeah, we'll talk about it. Looking forward to it. It's nice to catch up with the boys and nice to catch up with Matt as well. He's a firm favourite on a Friday. I see all the comments.
Yeah.
Everyone loves him.
Absolutely. But before we go to Matt, let's go to the king of positivity, Maz. Maz.
Yay, he's muted.
Keep him on mute. Keep him on mute. Stay on mute.
I'm really, really happy. I've got money saved up for Levy Land in the future. Nice little nest egg there to become a lifelong member of Levy Land. I'm really looking forward to.
Levy Land. Levy Land.
Let's come up with a tune for it.
I'm really looking forward to seeing Emerson Royale and Davies back in the team against our rivals coming up.
Oh, listen, that's the first thing we're going to discuss.
We're playing brilliant football this season. That's all I wanted for this season, is to play really good football. I'm buzzing.
I'm buzzing.
Nice,
He's
Matt.
buzzing.
There's some positivity.
If you've just tuned in, can you feel the energy? Yeah, can you feel that? Are you feeling it? Yeah. Okay. Plenty more where that came from. Matt, first time on the Monday pod, stepping in for Iggy. How are you doing, my man? How's things?
Yeah. Listen, I mean, I'm there watching Sky Sports News, transfer deadline day, not expecting anything to materialise, and then at the 11th hour, I get the call to join my boyhood club, and it's to play with JP and Maz, and obviously have you as captain in the team. It's an offer I couldn't refuse. So I got my Peterham Udogie car and got down to the gates and, signed on with a minute to spare.
Oh, the wingy, do you remember that? God. People, welcome. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know next time we go live or when we upload a video. Quickly say hello to everyone in the chat. Swifty, how you doing, my man? Big up to you. Bertie Hopspur, Anthony Clark in the house. We've got William. Big up, William. Tom, Totspur, SVARR, BG. Big up to you. Adrian's in the house. Got Wayne, Dean, aka Stixie, and she became a butterfly. We've got Ryan in the house. We've got Norman, Language Angels, as always. Tony Rodriguez, representing from Sweden. Robert J.O. Jones, big up to you as well. James Flower in the house. Edward, JJ, Cockspur. Zafaguna. Oh, Lagunas. Where were you? Where were you after the Bayern Munich game, huh? Oh, you're back now. A user in the house. We've got Mohammed. Big up to you. Sammy and the boys, big up to all of you. Graham's in the house. Louis K. Ian in the house. A user with a super chat. Poro and Udogie out. We are finished. We are going to discuss this first thing. I give you my word. Big up to you, a user. Lappers82. CMO Sports Connor. Big up to this fraud. Chris, how you doing? Andy's in the house. Jason's in the house. Rishi in the house. University friend of mine. Big up to Rishi. Liverpool fan. He must be loving life. Oz. And my name is Jeff. Ron. Alrighty. By the way, big up to you, Ron, for your efforts on social media today. Big up to you. Guys, let's just... Oh, there he is. H, last minute. Big up to you, H, as well. Guys, so sitting there thinking, Arsenal got a result against Wolves. They've got Chelsea next. They're still in the title race. It's down to us to derail them. And then, bang, Instagram. Udogie has announced on Instagram he's out for the rest of the season after an operation. And we're thinking, what? Is this April Fool's? Is this a joke? So we're scattering all over social media to find if this is true or not. And yeah, season is over. Plans of the heart belong to the man, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. These are words from Udogie. An injury brings my season to an early end. It doesn't take away from how grateful I am to every person that has supported me this year. # blessed. So we're fucked.
In a nutshell.
Look, I don't even know. I'll tell you what my concern with this is more than anything, right? It's not that he's injured and most probably Ben Davies comes in. It's not that we've also got a concern over Pedro Porro with a hamstring. We don't know what the situation is. We'll find out come the weekend in the press conference. But it could be Ben Davies at left back. It's Emerson Royale. My concern, guys, isn't so much the injury because we have played games this year without them. Yeah, it's not been great, but we have grabbed results. We have managed to get draws, even with a bit of luck. My concern is we're not going to adapt, are we? We're going to go with the high line. And after going up to Newcastle with JP, watching us getting pumped with our best defenders on the pitch, we're up against the league leaders next. And I just find that if we don't change tactics, just brace for impact. It's going to get toxic. I think we are on the brink of it getting toxic if he doesn't change tactics. JP, what do you make of the Udogie injury, and how do you see this impacting us?
Firstly, big up to the guy, because he has been a bit of a revelation for us, and gutted that the fact that his season's ended, and possibly also for the Euros, right? So poor lad, and hope he gets kind of like back up and running as soon as possible. Two, what the hell is he announcing the fact that he's injured and not the club?
Yeah,
what's all that about?
It's a good point.
And as for what's coming up, it's just going to be carnage, really, isn't it? I think, look, Ange and his style of play, like we keep talking about it, and the fact that he needs to be able to not necessarily have a plan B, but be able to switch it around. And I think last time I remember saying, when Udogie was out and Porro was out and we played those two, we can't expect them to do what Porro and Udogie does. We can't. It's just not in them, right? We absolutely can't. Yet he did before. And if you go, okay, look, understanding his style, he wants to imprint this style into the whole squad and the whole team so everyone gets it and everything. To a small extent, maybe I understand that, right? But this is Arsenal coming up. It's not like any old game. I know we probably whinged about the other games and stuff like that.
And they've got something to play for, JP. They've really got something to play for.
We literally don't want to bend over and take it against them at our house. We don't. So I really hope that he does come up with something, because I'll be very frustrated if we play the same way we do and just get destroyed. That's what I see. Okay, Ernest.
I'm not sure what everyone's worried about. We've got Ben Davies, loyal servant of the club.
Hold on a minute.
What?
Maz, hold on a minute, right? So, I don't even know what this name is, right? OTC change, don't know to Werner. Ben Davies has never lost a North London derby he started in.
Well, that fills me with confidence.
We had not lost a game when Udogie, Van der Ven, Porro, and Romero started, and then we went to Newcastle and got battered 4-0. We can't cling on to stats like this, can we, Maz?
Well, record stats are made to be broken, right? So, like I said, look, I don't know what you're worried about. We've got Ben Davies, brilliant left back, international, plays on the left, right? On SofaScore, apparently he's got no weaknesses as a defender. He's really good at ground duels. I'm really, really confident with Ben Davies in the team, and I really can't wait to see how he fits into the Postecoglou system without, And if he does mess up, don't worry, we've got Van der Ven to mop up at the back, just sprint, do his little sprint thing that he does to save us at the back. So, I don't know what we're worried about, to be honest.
Maz, before I come to you, Listenheim says, if we switch tactics and lose 4-0, what will this channel say then? Very curious. Switch up the tactics, and then you'll hear. The first bit needs to happen.
What's that whole thing about insanity, right? Doing the same thing again and again and again.
If he switches tactics and we lose, come on here, listen, and listen to what we say, right? Because he's not going to change tactics. Or, look, never say never. Never say never. He might. Maz, what do you make of it? What do you make of the Udogie injury? What do you make of what you think is going to happen with the players that come in? What do you think about Ange and what tactics he'll go with? Because this, like, you know, it's who we are, mate. It's what we do, mate.
It's who we are. I think that I don't look. He hasn't changed the formation for a start of a game at all this season, and I don't think there's any chance that he's going to change it now. Not for this game. So you know he will bring in Davies and maybe Emerson, and he will ask them to do their job, you know, their respective job roles as he has done with Porro and Udogie. It's a loss, obviously, not having Udogie because he gives us that physical presence in the defence and going forward. He's very fast. He's prone to a mistake, but you know he's a young defender and he's been quite good this season, I think, generally. Although you know he does make mistakes. So yeah, it's a big loss. I mean, what can I say? I mean, we've seen this happen a million times before, where you know any one of our first 11 gets injured and the whole thing breaks down. Am I expecting anything different for next week? Unfortunately, not. No.
Well, levels
I
drop,
think
right?
the level will drop. Now, look. If we can, there's no reason to think that Ben Davies can't have a good game, a one-off good game. He's done it before. So let's just pray that he does have this one-off good game. But I'm not hopeful.
Matt, if you're Timo Werner, you can tell he's on my mind. If you're Mikel Arteta, you're a manager who's shown you can adapt. He went away to the Etihad, sat back for most of the game and tried to play counter-attacking football. Almost pulled it off, but good defensive display. They've got the best defense in the league. If you're Mikel Arteta, surely you come to Spurs and for the first 15, 20 minutes where Spurs normally start well, you just sit back a bit, contain them, control the game, look to pick them off. And when you break, just target the side Ben Davies is on. Surely that's the basic tactic they're going to come with. Or do you see a different game?
I think because it's a North London derby, I think just the kind of the magnitude of the game, I'll be surprised if he sets up like he did against Man City. And at that time, I think the point was better served for them. Whereas now I think they've got to have the idea that they've got to get 3 points in every game because of how tight it is at the top. I think they'll go for 3 points. I think they'll target the fullbacks. And to be honest with you, I think they would have targeted the fullbacks had Porro and Udogie started anyway. But I was just more confident with Udogie, with his physicality. And if the first game was anything to go by, he grew into the game. The longer it went on, he got booked early on, didn't he? And I thought he was exemplary after that booking against Saka. It's a tough fixture for obvious reasons. I agree with Maz. Every now and again, Ben Davies has a good game. I remember Liverpool. We played Liverpool last season, if I remember right, and he put some unbelievable blocks in that game. So he has got it in his.
Matt, wasn't that as centre back though?
Yes.
These good games we talk about, isn't that in the centre back role?
Oh yeah. He's better in a 3 as well. He played in a 3 in that game against Liverpool. Having said that, I think he'll be a little bit more cautious than Udogie. I think some of the chat people have been saying this week, if we have attacking fullbacks, one of them has to sit back and the other one stays forward. You could almost have that mindset in that game if Porro's fit. Let Porro be the more inverted and the more progressive fullback, and almost play a 3 of Ben Davies, Van der Ven, and Romero. It's a tough game, but we've also got to remember, and here's my slice of positivity. We've got to remember that we're at home. You know, had that been at Arsenal, then bets are off. We're getting pumped. But I'm just going to use that slice of positivity is that it's about us on the day. And Arsenal are a formidable team. Defensively, they are the best in the league. but strange things happen in North London derbies.
Matt, can I counter this? Just playing devil's advocate as the host of the show.
Please do.
We said
Please
that
do.
before Chelsea came to our ground. We said that before Man City came to our ground in the FA Cup. And we said that before we wanted to get revenge on Wolves and they came to our ground. We lost all three.
Yes. No, listen, there's no doubt about it. But I'm just, again, it's a slice of positivity. I'm just thinking that 2-week break can go two ways. Can go two ways on a defeat. It can either galvanise you and you play at your skin, or you go deeper and deeper into your shell. Can go two ways, and we won't know till the game. But I would like to think the fact that we're at home and we're coming off an absolute humiliation, I'm hoping 5 or 6 players step up in that game. I'm hoping.
I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but so far we've had a couple of breaks, and on the bounce of those breaks, we've not really been great when we've come back.
True.
Right.
True.
So, yeah, go on, read the super chat, man.
Matt doesn't fit in here, does he? All this positive energy. It's like we.
I'm trying to bring a bit of balance.
Bring him back down. No, it's good. Bring him back down.
Listen, it's good. It's good. It's good. We need to have all angles covered. A user super chat says the worry is Ange won't change regardless of players. Guys, let me ask this question, okay? I want to jump on what a user says. Thank you for the super chat. In your opinion, now that you know Udogie is injured, we know Arsenal are a good team. They're better than us, right? That's why they're top of the league. That's why they got to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. And as much as we banter them, bottle jobs, they only lost by 1 goal over 2 legs to Bayern. Does Ange need to tactically change it just for this one game on the grounds of it means so much to us as fans this game? It means so much to us to not lose a North London derby, to have some bragging rights and to stop them from winning the league. Just if there was one game the whole season that you'd want to see the manager change it, I would say most Spurs fans would say, look, just for this one game, please. Do you think he should change it? Do you think he should adapt?
I think we all think he should, but the likelihood that he is going to change it is as it stands now is virtually zero, because he hasn't done in the past, unless there's a game I've missed where he has changed it all of a sudden. But he normally only changes things, mid to late game, doesn't he? If he is going to change anything, and even then, it's not huge changes. I think he's only gone to a back 3 once or twice this season when we were comfortably winning, potentially.
Everton away, he went to a back 3, didn't he? Second half.
Yeah. So
and then conceded.
It's
after he changed it, we conceded. Maybe he knows best.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to change it at all. I would love to see him go to a like a 4-5-1, if I'm honest with you. Pack out the midfield. Have one lone striker up top in Son.
Would you have the 4-5-1 on the halfway line, or would you have it a little bit further back?
I think. Have you got the picture where we can illustrate the formation I'm thinking of?
No, I don't have it. I don't have it.
I was waiting been waiting all week.
Sorry.
Well,
for people that don't know what we're talking about, there's this image that was going around on our WhatsApp group of the predicted Spurs formation, and it had 11 players on the halfway line.
With Van de Ven just below.
With Van de Ven just below, yeah.
Oh dear. No, I'd love to see a 4-5-1. I think if he was going to do that, keep it compact, allow us to win that midfield battle, then I think we've got a chance. If we stick to our status quo in terms of how we've been playing, the only way I can see us getting a result is if we're really clinical, because we do create chances, right? We do create chances, but we need our front 3 and our midfield, because the midfield have virtually done nothing goal scoring wise, to be really clinical. If they're clinical and we can get a quick goal, a quick couple of goals early on, then I think we've got a fighting chance against Arsenal.
Does anyone not factor in the fact that, okay, Udogie's injured, Porro's 50-50, but form does go out the window. Even last year when we were just crap, and we were crap towards the end of the season, we down tools. We had, I think, Mason in charge, Stellini, God, I don't even know anymore. Arsenal came to us and they only won 2-0. And we actually had some chances in that game, which we fluffed. But yeah, Arsenal were the better team on the day. They deserved to win, but they didn't come and just spank us. And we went to their ground this year and we got a 2-2 draw. I think the concern is that we're just not playing well, right? The concern is, when's the last time we played good football? Does anyone think that, look, maybe a win is a bit far-fetched? Not impossible, but far-fetched. Does anyone think, do you know what, we can get a draw? We can get a point from this game?
Well, I suppose the thing would be to say, based on the game we had earlier in the season, everybody, if not every single Arsenal fan, every single pundit on TV, they literally said, "Oh, Ange's high line, go to," I'll still call it Highbury, and play that and see what happens. We actually looked like a better team at that point, and I totally get that. We were playing better at that point of the season, right? But it was literally play that high line, you'll get mullered. And really, I felt we should have won that game. Is the only thing I would kind of cling on to, I suppose. In terms of him changing his tactics, I think he needs to. He really does need to. Don't tell me every single manager in the world doesn't have a plan B or a second way of playing if certain situations happen, certain injuries happen, within their squad. I think every manager needs something else up their sleeve. You need to have that alternative. And I think it'd be naive of him just to think that he can only play one way, and when he gets his players, it'll all click into place next season and we'll challenge for the league. I kind of can't see it myself, but it's going to take a good couple of seasons for him to embed what he wants in there, with new players coming in, old players going out. But I insist that he does need to have a different scheme to be able to come up with things in games, even during games when things are not going for you. Like 2-0 at Newcastle, you go, okay, we'll change something, do something, carry on the same. 4-0. It's going to happen, right? And on the back of that, on the back of going away and getting wrapped, and as you said, with our best defenders who've not lost a game so far this season, getting done 4-0, again, hopefully, you'd like to think that they're going to be doing some different pieces of training for the 2-week break that they've got, so that they come up with something else to be able to work out in a game, because otherwise it's just the merry-go-round, isn't it? From my point of view.
Yeah, I think he does have to adapt. Just two things quickly, guys. Listen, Hines, can you email me hello@tottenhamaway.com? That's hello@tottenhamaway.com. Screenshot me where this channel has ever said Ange out. Send me that, and then I can address what you're saying, because
I don't think we'll ever be Ange out. We'll back every single manager that's there, whether they get the tools or not to complete their job's a different story.
I know, but he wants clarification, because we're giving mixed messages. So I want to see the message that says Ange out, because it doesn't exist. Enigma 6. Ben Davies might add some defensive solidity as he doesn't invert too much. Ben Davies doesn't get to pick whether he inverts or not. That's the manager's instruction for the tactic. Go watch what he did against Crystal Palace, and he got hauled off at half-time. Again, we say things, but I don't understand where these are coming from. I don't understand the logic. Ben Davies won't have a choice. That's how we play.
No, but I think he feels that because Ben Davies can be a bit more defensive-minded, he won't go forward. But obviously, if the manager says to him, look, this is what Udogie does, and I want you to do exactly the same. Unfortunately, Ben Davies has got to follow that instruction, right?
But Ben Davies will be on the halfway line. And there's the problem. That's where he got rinsed against Crystal Palace.
And he's not very pacey, is he? So
no player sits below the halfway line. This is the whole problem. This is why I don't understand. Like, but if when Ben Davies was centre back, he did well for us. But
from a blocking
which game,
capacity, right? From
yeah, but when we were on the back foot, we were actually pushed back. But I don't remember him having. I mean, we lost 6 games before Christmas, and he started in 5 of them. So I don't get it with the whole Ben Davies thing. I mean, look, people think he's.
Do you recall last season?
He's probably not there by himself as well, right? There were other people culpable for it.
When we're complaining last season that when Dyer, Sanchez, and Davies played or they featured in important games, we always lost. That one of them always let us down. So, look, I'm not saying Ben Davies is going to let us down, but we've got more problems in the team than just the inclusion of Ben Davies. To be honest with you, we really need our midfield to step
be
up,
snappy, to be faster, to be braver on the ball, playing those through balls.
All of those things, JP. You're absolutely right.
Right?
And then we need quality. They need to execute. You can have quality, but you need to execute that quality or deliver on that quality consistently throughout the whole game. There's no point doing a good pass here and there every now and again. You need to be brilliant for that whole 90 minutes or 100 minutes or however long the game is nowadays. So that's why I said that it'd be great to see Ange change something and maybe do a 4-5-1 or whatever the formation, just to get some of these key positions and players doing, ticking, doing something a bit better. Because we can't personally, I don't think we can carry on the way we're going. Because I do think teams have sussed us, and it's going to get
100%.
harder and harder for us to counter their counter.
But it seems really simple though, right, Maz? In terms of Pep said put someone on a goalkeeper, and then suddenly every team's like adopted that because they showed how weak that was. Yet we've still not. It doesn't look as if we're doing anything about that. I think I saw maybe Porro getting in the way, or no, it was Maddison. Kind of like the last game, I think he kind of got in front of the keeper now and again. But again, that's relatively easy. From when we played Barcelona at the start of that like pre-season friendly, and it was like all exciting that we beat them and stuff like that. How many times? One ball straight over the top, diagonal, Porro side. They got in. I think even West Ham did it in that pre-season tournament. And that's really not been fixed properly because teams are still doing that now.
Well, we're complaining how Porro was getting done, right? Because he was unaware of the players running in behind him. And teams were targeting the flanks, weren't they? They were targeting against Arsenal. They were targeted Udogie, didn't they? Saka. And he had a horrible half an hour, Udogie, until he to give him credit, he recovered and he played quite well after that
he
period.
got the card, yeah.
But I can imagine exactly what Stel said earlier. I can imagine them isolating our flanks, and especially as we're playing that high line and the defenders are inverting, them literally just pinging balls over the top, and their runners will decimate us if they do that, and we're not sharp.
If chicken casserole plays as well, I mean,
where you were saying earlier, still it would make sense for Arteta to almost play like everyone else has against us, right? It's whether he feels not bravado, but almost like he goes, no, I want to go toe to toe with him. We're just going to go there and kind of like try and smash him. Which
I don't think he'll be that naive, JP.
Potentially could leave gaps. However, those front three have to be on it.
I disagree. I disagree. I tell you what, if who has gone toe to toe with us, right, and come off worse out of the top teams, excluding the first 10 games of the season?
We've got the best
Villa?
record against
Villa recently.
Villa, yeah.
Right, Villa. Okay. Who
Man
else?
City away, but we got lucky at their ground in the first half. We got lucky in the first half. Arsenal away.
Yeah, that was in the first 10 games though.
Who we played Tuesday?
Well.
Man United away.
Them two's 2 out of top 4.
See, every single one of those games, with the exception of Villa, there's big question marks and exceptions for me. Because I think against City, we were quite lucky. I do believe against City. That's not to take credit away from us, but I think we were lucky. Man United are not very good this season. Let's be honest, right? And the first 10 games was almost like an anomaly, right? Because the last 20 games have not been as good. So, yeah, that's my take on it.
It's been quite strange, isn't it, Maz and Matt or whatever? Since those players have come back from their injuries, it's just not reconnected again at all, has it? It's almost like they've kind of almost forgotten how they played, or totally lost their form. Injuries, I get. Bentancur, lad's been out for God knows how long. I kind of half expect him to take his time getting back, but like your Maddisons and stuff like that, it's just
For me, I think this game is won and lost in midfield. I think whoever gets a grip of that midfield should win the football match. And I think our deterioration in how we play has been a catalyst of our midfield. Basuma went off the boil. Sarr at times single-handedly was kind of impacting games in both boxes and being a pest. Maddison, living in the Midlands, I have Leicester City fans who say that's what you get with Maddison. He'll be brilliant for a quarter of the season, then he'll get his knocks, and then he might come back in the last third of the season. So Maddison is definitely a fragile kind of, enigma of a footballer. We have to try and dominate that midfield. That, for me, is where the game is won and lost. I've got a sneaky suspicion he's going to go with Papa Sarr in that game, simply for his legs and his drive and his enthusiasm. And I think it'll be one of Basuma or Bentancur that will miss out. And I think he's expecting Sarr to really, really have a driving game for us, because we're going to need his tenacity and his ability to kind of cover gaps and drive the team on. So, yes, Ben Davies is obviously not an Udogie, but I just think it's easy for us to focus on Ben Davies because he's obviously a poor imitation of Udogie. But I think it's up to Tottenham. We're at home. We have to take the game by the scruff of the neck and try and put our thumbprint on that game. If we don't, that's when we're going to incur problems, because Arsenal are a good side. They don't concede many goals, and they've got a couple of match winners. So when we are at home, we've got to take the initiative, put our front foot in the game, and take the game away from them. I would actually, I'm not sure if Stell's going to like this, but I would actually, if he's fit, I would start with Richarlison down the middle, and I would put Son on the left. That's what I would do in that game.
Matt. Okay. All right. You called it. You're right. You're spot on. I don't like it.
What's the difference, Richarlison versus Werner then?
Let me tell you. By the way, William, thank you so much. Super chat. He says,
physical presence.
Yeah.
He says, imagine we get battered 4-0.
But that's what I mean to Stell, because at the end of the day, having Richarlison miss.
I'll tell you my issue. I just want to quickly do the super chat. William, imagine we get battered 4-0 like at Newcastle. We will find out on Sunday, William. That's for sure. Thank you for the super chat. Right.
It won't happen. It won't happen.
Richarlison has got two qualities. One is not even a quality. The first one is
his high energy.
It's not. It's what lunatic fans have made up, right? The first one is he can actually header a ball quite well. So if we're going to whip good crosses into the box, and only Porro can cross a ball into the box, head height, with accuracy for him to get onto. The rest can't do it. Brennan Johnson just on the ground. Timo Werner just smashes it at your kneecaps. Kulu inverts and I don't know what he does. Porro can cross. That's the only thing Richarlison's good at. The other thing he's good at, which isn't a skill, is what people call, he's good at the shithousery. That isn't a skill. That's what you do when you don't have skill. You do shit things like fall over the ball, pretend your ankle's been clipped, wind up the opposition, get a knee. Yeah, that's not a skill. That's just to compensate you being crap. You do that because you're not good at football, right? And the thing is, Matt, you said you want to see us start on the front foot, impose ourselves.
Yeah.
As soon as Richarlison gets on the ball, our play breaks down. Like, he breaks down the play. And the amount of times I've seen him, go for it.
Yes. But have we watched Son? Are we allowed to discuss Son, his ball retention? At the moment, I would only
against
bring
the low
Son
block
on.
Son,
in general,
Son against the low block.
How many times has the ball broke down with Son in the last 3 or 4 games?
That's not his game, though, is it? In fairness, his game is running onto the ball.
No, you're right. No, I agree. Son hasn't been good. I do agree. But that's because he's not an out-and-out striker and he's got no competition. So we are resting all our hopes up front on Son because Richie's crap. Brennan Johnson's been overhyped. I'm not even going to talk about Timo Werner. Solomon's injured, but he's not even all that. Veliz, what a signing he's turned out to be. There's nothing else up front. If we don't have Son on the end of balls, but we know what Son's good at. 1-on-1 with the keeper, just feed him in 1-2 touch goal. If you want a player to hold it up, link up the play, win headers, we know that's not Son. So we need some. But what Son can do is he can link up the play if he drops deeper and we're attacking a team that isn't deep. He can do that. Whereas Richarlison, whenever I see him play, the amount of times we're on the transition and the ball comes to Richarlison and it just falls apart, I'm losing my mind. I'm like, what is this? Why do people
He's got such a bad first and second touch, doesn't he? It's just his touch is awful.
He's crap.
And
he's crap.
Yeah, I just think in this game, I think it's going to be a very tightly contested game. I think there's going to be a lot of physical duels. And I just think Richarlison is better equipped to play that for the first hour, especially. I think the first half's going to be very, very cagey. And Son to me looks exhausted. He doesn't seem like he wants to get involved in the intricate side of the game. Son wants the ball left or right. He can one touch, get his shot away. Unfortunately, Arsenal are too good for that. So I think once the game opens up and there's gaps, then maybe Son can come into the game. But I think I watched Son.
Matt, Matt, 1 minute. When we went to the Emirates, the first goal we scored, Son was surrounded by players, but he had the finish. Yes. If that was any other Spurs player, what other Spurs player would you think could have scored that goal? That first goal we scored.
Only Son, no doubt about it. But that was September. That was in September.
But there are situations that he can get in and score. Whereas if you put any other player there, Richarlison or whoever, they couldn't put I'd say 10 out of 10 times.
Richarlison would have kicked his other leg.
They wouldn't be able to convert that.
Yeah, I just think he's the only number 9 we've got available. Son plays in moments. He plays in, and I just think we won't have enough of those moments, especially early on. We need a foothold in the game. You need a foothold in the game, and Richarlison is not the ideal person for that position. I will agree with you, but at the moment, Son's off form. The ball's breaking down a lot around him, and we're coming up against Saliba and Gabriel. And if I was Gabriel and Saliba, I would roughhouse Son, because that's what he doesn't want. He doesn't want that. I'd get close to him. I'd manhandle him. I'd rough him up. That's not what Son wants. The only thing I will give Richarlison is, for his limitations, I think it's a type of game that he will contribute. Whether that's a goal or an assist, he'll contribute. Richarlison likes that physical, mental, antagonistic football match. That's the one thing about Richarlison. So would he be the guy that I want the chance to fall to? Of course you want it to drop to Son. But come on, Stowe, let's be honest. The last good game Son played.
The last good game Richarlison played.
Well, Richarlison's been injured, hasn't he? He's been injured for whatever.
But that's always his excuse, Matt. Come on, man.
Yeah, I know. But tell me the last good game Son has played as a number 9.
Aston Villa.
I think he scored. I don't think his all-round game was particularly good. I don't think he led the line at all. I think
but Richarlison's all-round game hasn't been good, even though he's been scoring goals.
All right. Okay. All right. The question is this then. Going into a North London derby, who would we rather have as our number 9? Richarlison or Son? For me, I will go with Son.
Son.
I would go with Son. And I agree he's not playing well. I agree.
He looked shattered to me. He looked since he's come back from Asia.
The alternative is so.
He looks spent.
The alternative is so low for me that it's almost like
it's worth just putting something there. And that's the thing, where you mentioned, Matt, you're going to get moments in the game. And personally, I'd rather those moments appear to Son at his feet than Richarlison at his feet, right? And that's kind of what you said as well. But I totally get the Richarlison going and being naughty against Saliba and Gabriel and rattling them just as much as they would rattle him, or kind of more Gabriel, to be honest. And I wouldn't mind having Richarlison on the pitch just to slap Gabriel. But
he's up for the fight, and it's going to be when you play in those level of games, derbies and those type of atmospheres, you got to look in that dressing room and say, who's up for the fight? The football will come. The intricate stuff will come. Who's up for the battle first? And I look at Son.
Yeah,
but then you've got is Werner up for that battle? If you're
up for that battle? If you're Arteta, and the team sheets are announced, and you see Spurs are going with a front three of Turbo Werner, Brenda Johnson, and the Pigeon. I mean,
no, I'm not trying to drop Son. I'm saying to put Son on the left, play Richarlison, and then you toss a coin who's going to play wide right.
You've got to play Kulu because Kulu's
okay. I thought you meant drop Son. Sorry, I thought you meant drop Son.
No. I said at the start I'd put Son on the left, play Richarlison down the middle, and then it's a toss of a coin whether you go Brennan Johnson, Kulusevski on the right.
Can't play Brenda in this game.
So you drop Timo Werner
every day of the week.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I wasn't saying to drop Son at all. I would put him on the left.
Sorry, I thought you meant Turbo, Brenda,
No.
Like.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah, okay, that could work maybe.
Yeah. The thing that the problem is none of our midfield or forward players are playing well at the moment, are they?
Our midfield's rubbish at the moment.
Right.
Our midfield right now is terrible.
We really need our midfield to put in a shift this game if we're going to have any chance of doing anything.
Up against Declan Rice, Jorginho, who's in form, Odegaard, who's in form, Partey, who's back from injury.
Yep.
I would love to see Bentancur, Lo Celso, Maddison line up. Because Lo Celso
worries me as well.
Who?
Maddison worries me as well.
But Lo Celso turns up for big games. He does.
I'm surprised Maddison seems to get away. Maddison seems to get away a lot on a lot of the shows I've watched and listened to. He gets a free pass.
I called him out last show.
I think Maddison's been bang average. bang average.
I agree.
Do you know our biggest problem right now is it's not even Udogie's injured. It's that our actual good players aren't playing good anymore.
No, exactly. Yeah.
The ones that we would turn to, the Maddison, the Son, the Bentancur.
Sar's got to play.
Not for a few games, as like we've been saying, right?
Sar has got to. For me, it's Sar and two others. You've got to play
I
in
can
that game.
see Sar being run ragged against Arsenal, if I'm honest. He'll be
He's
running
got
all
to
over
play.
the place. But
Declan Rice will be following him around, wouldn't he?
this is where I think Lo Celso, where he's got a bit of, he's got quality about him, and he can, he's not scared to put in a tackle or get involved. I think that's what you need against a team like Arsenal. Like he was, like Lo Celso played brilliantly against the Man City team. And he scored. Didn't he score 2 goals in 2 games? And he was one of our best.
Villa and Man City.
Yeah,
and then he got injured.
Then he got injured. Yeah, but let's playing for this one game, and we'll know he'll be injured next week. But at least he'll get one game under his belt.
I agree. I agree. I think
I would more than happy play him. To be fair,
Yeah.
I think he has got it. It's just not working out, is it?
Guys, hold on a minute. Guys, we spent 20 minutes talking about who should be in the front three, who should be in the midfield. Does it matter who we play if we're going to do a high line for 90 minutes? Does it even matter?
Well, yes. Because when we do get that opportunity, we want one of those front three to be able to put it in the onion bag, right? And which one of them?
We need to be clinical. That's exactly what I said at the start. If we can start well and actually finish our chances early doors, then I think we've got a fighting chance.
But does it matter if we're just going to give away big chance after big chance after big chance? This is the big question. We're up against the team that are top of the table who have scored. JP, they've scored the most goals of more than City and Liverpool. This lot have scored, and we're saying high line.
But if you look at it, isn't that what Ange's game is, to outscore the other team?
Yeah, but this is the best. They're the best. Can we afford to do it? This game, is this the game to do it? Like,
his stance is not different, is it? Irrespective of who it is.
That's why we got spanked at bloody Newcastle, man. That's the problem. This is my argument of what the problem is. One of the problems is, all right, Levy's the biggest problem. We know that. But the players not being good enough is another big problem. But the manager as well, with this high line, 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. Steady. Stay there now. Stay on that. If Arsenal go 1-0 up, for example, or if we go 1-0 up, the last thing we want to do is say, right, we're 1-0 up, push up high. How's about just drop off because they're going to come, contain them, suck the life out of them, then push up again. Is he going to do that? Because tactics. This is what
Are you a coach by any chance?
But I'm just saying, guys, that does it, like, in the grand scheme of things, no matter what podcast, YouTube channel you want, give a shit. Does it matter who we play out of the team we've got available if we do this high line for 90 minutes? In the end, will it matter? Mate. Can we beat Arsenal by playing the high line with the players we've got? That's the question.
Do we play the high line on their ground and lose?
Well, I think they pushed us back for the first 20 minutes, didn't they? We weren't really high up. We got pushed back a bit.
So it can happen. The fact that if Arsenal come onto us, we will gradually drop back anyway, right? It's not like we're just going to stand on the halfway line and go for it.
But we give away such high quality chances, and you give away those type of chances to Arsenal in their current form, and we're in big trouble. When we played them at the start of the season, they were a bit green, weren't they? They were a bit raw at the start of the season. They had problems actually scoring. Now they don't have that problem.
They're also the best team in the league at taking set pieces and scoring, and we are one of the worst.
That's the thing that worries me the most.
That's another issue we've got.
Me the most.
Apparently, Ange said that we've been quite good at set pieces. That's what he said.
This is what I mean.
Well, we've got to listen to our manager, mate. We got to. He's big Ange. We wanted good football. This is what we got. So, suck it, JP.
Trust the process, man.
Suck it, JP. Mazzy's out of control, man. It's getting worse every week. What the hell? He's going to come next week with one of them balaclavas.
That rain cloud moved from your house to his house.
His house, yeah.
I think there's the unknown. You know, it's a London derby. How confident were we before the game against Chelsea at home?
Yeah, we were. But that was a bit weird. 9 men.
Well, still thought we were going to win the league.
Hang on. So
stop it with this agenda, man.
We'll get to that, Maz. We'll get to that in a second. But what I was going to say is, sometimes
suck it, Maz.
Anomalies happen. You know, sometimes if anybody would have predicted the incidents and what would have happened, how that Chelsea game transpired. If anybody, there's nobody would have predicted. Remember, we went 1-0 up. We had a very, very tight offside call to go 2-0 up.
That was the changing point for me, that offside decision. If that went our way, right, I think that's game over. But
Chelsea were in a wretched run of form before that game. We were nails on to win that game at home. We imploded. We all know how that finished. This is football, guys. How long have we been watching and playing it? Don't be surprised if something strange happens. It wouldn't shock me if we get beat. It wouldn't shock me if we go and beat them. It's football. I know the stats and all the data suggests that they score more goals from set pieces. We're weak at set pieces. Would it shock you if we go up their end and score off a corner? It's football.
But Matt, you're right. You are right. It's football. Don't underestimate what football can do. But reality hat, we're not playing well. We haven't played well in ages. We've now lost our best left back. We might not have our best right back. And they are in form. They've got groove again. I think the Chelsea game will determine a lot. So if they don't beat Chelsea, I think they come to Spurs a wounded animal. If they beat Chelsea, they come to Spurs looking to rip us a new one. I think that Chelsea game will determine the mentality they bring to White Hart Lane.
Maybe.
If they come to us off the back of a Chelsea win, Matt, I just see problems for us.
How do they?
And I don't want to say that as a Spurs fan because I'm going to the game, right? I'm going to the game. The last thing I want to see is another Newcastle. But I've got to be realistic. They're a better squad. They've got better subs. Their manager is more tactically adaptable. We are, 2 weeks ago, I felt a little bit more confident. Now I'm expecting to come out of there just, depressed, basically.
I mean, maybe the guys in the chat who are Arsenal fans can tell me, or I don't know if you guys watched the Arsenal game. Was it yesterday? How did they play?
Okay, I watched it.
They had 26 shots. Wolves had 5.
That was a scratch Wolves team, by the way. They had decimated injuries. No Neto, no Cunha,
no Udogie,
Mario,
no Porro, Highline.
Yeah, look, I just.
Sorry for trying to kill your positivity, Matt. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be the devil's advocate.
I think Matt's got a point there. I mean, anything can happen.
It's football, guys.
In your London derby and a game, and we're not, as down as we are about where we currently are, how bad we're playing. We're not obviously not a bad team. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in the position we are now,
in the
right?
league.
Yeah, exactly. The major concern, I think, most of us are trying to relay, and you, Matt, as well, is that just our key players are just not playing well. So at the moment, it's really difficult to see where the spark and the goals are going to come from. Certainly, our front three aren't playing very well at the moment. Our midfield aren't playing well, and we've got, 2 integral cogs in the wheel missing, right? So I'm just finding it difficult to be positive about us playing Arsenal, especially in the form they're in. Unless, and I think I'm only feeling this way, not necessarily because of the players we got out, or even complete opposite to what I said now. Even the players are playing bad, but if Ange would adapt the system, then I think, oh yeah, he could do this, and then it gives me hope. But knowing that he's going to go play that same system with inverted fullbacks in Davies and potentially Royale and play the high line, I just think Arsenal are going to absolutely rip us a new one.
Yeah,
even with 2 weeks break and the players being recharged and
it's possible
having some more drills put into them.
It's possible. I think, Arsenal have played quite a few football matches recently. I've got Arsenal family, and they say Declan Rice has looked leggy. They thought he was average against Villa. They thought he was poor against Munich. So, look, the only kind of half full message I'm trying to say is Arsenal go into the game as favourites for obvious reasons. I understand that, but I wouldn't sleep on Spurs. We're at home. We're licking our wounds. That's football. And it would be Spurs just when people are writing us off for us to go and get a result. We've done it how many times? It's when we've fancied style. What did I say to you? Remember I called the Newcastle game and you thought I was being pessimistic. It was tailor-written for us to lose that game and chuck the game. Friday night show, I said, tomorrow Stowe will get beat. It just wouldn't shut me to go and get a result.
I don't believe we're going to beat Arsenal. I mean, for me, I just don't see it at all. No matter what, I just don't. But what I can see is if Spurs bring it, if we have a game where we say, whoa, they really, really put a shift in, Arsenal slightly not on it, misfiring a few chances, and Spurs do take the chances we create. I do see a pathway of where Spurs can get like a 2-2 draw. I do think that is possible, but that's not what I think will happen. But if we got a draw, I am like you. It is the kind of thing that Spurs would do because we're expected to not do anything, right? So I do that. I agree with. I do agree with, but
yeah, listen, the 3-2 win at the Etihad last season, I think we'd come off 3. We'd lost 3 on the bounce under Conte. And we went to the Etihad. And
we had Harry Class A, an absolute master up front. Now we've got Turbo, Brenda, Pulu.
Yeah, strange things have happened.
Pigeon. All right. Do you know what? Let's do a quick prediction on it. Come on, JP, you're first. All the pressure's on you.
I will never say we'll lose 2-1.
So that's your problem, JP.
But your face tells it all, JP.
This is the problem. This is the problem.
I can't go there with that mentality.
No,
why? We went to Newcastle.
We didn't have that mentality going there, did we?
That's what I mean. We were wrong.
2-2. You said.
I know what you mean. I thought.
And I'm not sitting next to you again.
Yeah, fair play. I've every away game I've been to, we've lost. So I'm never going to ever again. Matt, you're going 2-1 Spurs, 2-1. JP.
2-1.
Matt, what are you thinking?
I think it's actually going to be a 1-1 draw, and I think that we will go 1-0 up, and they'll get a last-minute equaliser.
After all of that.
Because
I'm trying to be positive. Honestly, otherwise I'm going to say we're going to get pumped 3-1.
What do you forget this happy clappy nonsense? What do you genuinely believe? Because when you actually do
genuinely, I stick by what I said. Part of me is with Matt. Is you never know what's going to happen. North London derby. If we can be clinical. If we can get those first 1 or 2 goals and really shock them, like we did when Conte was there, if you recall, then I think, oh, okay. And the players are up for it. I think we can get something out of this. But with the form that our players are in and what Newcastle done to us, I just fear that they're going to come to us and they're probably going to go 2-3-0 up, even by half time. And then we'll just get 1 consolation goal in the second half because Ange has put a rocket up their arse. So it's 3-1.
What's your
to Arsenal.
prediction? 3-1 Arsenal.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what you actually believe. That's what you genuinely think.
Yes.
Okay, so we've gone 2-1 Spurs, 3-1 Arsenal. Matt.
I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs. I think it's going to be a feisty, fiery.
Seriously.
Why? I generally, can you not see at all a Tottenham win at all?
I think you and JP are just maybe good start to the week, good day at work. I don't know what's going on here.
Look, listen.
One minute. I got to do it. No, go on, Matt. Go on. Sorry. Explain why you think 2-1.
Look, it's a really, really tough game, and Arsenal are favourites. The only shred of confidence I've got is the fact that we're at home. If you're coming off a humiliation, it can go two ways. And yes, we've had breaks. JP's point I take that we've had breaks before, and the immediate game after we've not played great. But I just think that the manner of that performance and result, the fact that the players went to the fans at the end of the game, and the fans were telling them to F off and whatever else. I think I just saw a shift in some of the players' realization. You know, I looked at Maddison's interview. He looked really affected by what obviously he leaked a few things about players aren't following the instructions and passing the ball back to the goalie when we're being pressed, play our way out. So I think I would expect a few home truths on the training pitch and in the dressing room. And I'm just expecting we're going to ride our luck because Arsenal are the better team. But I just think home court advantage, I just think, call it luck, whatever way you want to call it. Liverpool, not saying they're going to get 2 players sent off and we're going to have a VAR in our favour, but I just think home court advantage, we're gonna nick it 2-1.
Doesn't that really worry you, Matt, though, that players are coming out and being concerned and moaning already? We've gone from Kulu's we won at life to Maddison.
No,
you know,
I'd prefer the Maddison interview than the Kulu interview.
Yeah,
because Maddison's actually now saying, when are we going to listen? We're being pressed. They've got 3 quick, agile forwards. We're inviting pressure on ourselves. Play. That's not what we do. Play our way back ourselves to play ourselves out of possession, out of presses. Play ourselves out of trouble. I'd rather that speech than we win in life.
Did he say no to Timo as well in his interview?
No to Timo.
Yeah. The campaign, say no to the campaign I started.
Good campaign.
Yeah. Say no to Timo. Yeah. All right. Look, Matt's gone 2-1. JP's gone 2-1. Maz has gone 3-1 in favour of Arsenal. Got a super chat here from
you still.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you now. I'm just gonna do the super chat. A user says, "When it matters, the team lets us down." Period.
I seem to remember a video of you doing that still.
Yeah. So,
let you down.
Yeah, outside St James's Park.
They'll always let you down.
That's the video. Look, for me, I was going to predict 2-2. I had a feeling. I was kind of feeling like Matt was thinking. I thought, you know what? It would just be typical of Spurs to grab a draw. But now that Udogie news has come out and Porro's 50-50, for me, it really does depend on that Chelsea result for Arsenal for me. But look, I can't do the caveat thing because you don't just say, here we go. If that happens, it's so. I think I think they beat us 2-1. I think we lose it. I just don't think we've got the firepower up front. And I think the midfield's just not sinking at the moment. And without Udogie and Porro, I fear it. I do fear it. I don't think it'll be like a battering where they just completely run right over us. I don't think it'll be like that. I just think they'll be clinical and we won't be. And in the end, we're just going to end up shooting ourselves in the foot either from set pieces or from a high line. I think we lose this game tactically. That's what I'm trying to say. I think we lose this game tactically. I hope I'm wrong, guys. I do, because I'm going to the game.
Absolutely.
The last thing I want is to be interviewing Phil P after the game and Phil P's screaming about the cataracts of the manager, you know. So, yeah.
It could, if we do win, and obviously I hope we do win, it could really propel us to have a really strong end to the season especially against the other
we're not
teams.
Come on, don't get carried away, Maz. Come on.
No, I think it could. I really do think it could.
Spurs at Stamford Bridge.
And then Anfield.
Where we've only won 8 times in 100 years.
If we get a draw.
Maz was doing so well, and then he just went and jumped the gun in it. I think we could beat all these teams.
The Padwan's not taking note.
I said if we win against Arsenal, it may make us propel, kickstart the end of the season sort of campaign. The last 6 games.
Do you know what my concern is? Okay, regardless of what happens at Arsenal, we've won 1 away game in 8. We're a different team away from home. We're shocking.
I get all of that, but what I'm trying to say is,
and then we're going to the 2 grounds.
Yes,
we never. But
what I'm trying to say is, I'm almost waiting for us to go back into form this season. I'm maybe waiting a long time, but I'm always waiting for us to go back into form. And if we bounce back against Arsenal, get a good result, and it's convincing, then I'm a little bit more hopeful for the rest of the games. If we lose against Arsenal, then you watch what I'm going to be like next week. It ain't going to be good.
But hold on, but you predicted a loss.
I said if we win, if we can do it, if we win, then
then everything he says goes out the window.
Yeah, look, I'm normally wrong about most things, right? So hopefully I'm wrong about this one.
All right, well, look, there you have it, guys. That's an hour and 15 minutes on Spurs v Arsenal and the Udogie injury. If you're watching, thank you for joining us tonight. We've got 300 people watching live. Smash a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that goodness. Big up to JP, Maz, and Matt. The next thing I want to talk to you about. So, I'm actually at a point now where I think there's something mentally wrong with us as a club from top to bottom, right? I genuinely believe there is something in the waters, something that we're eating. I just don't understand us anymore. So Alistair Gold put this tweet out. Now that Timo Werner has played a certain amount of minutes, his data can be compared to other Premier League wingers, and he comes out very well. Personally, as an experienced option within a stronger Spurs squad for next season, it seems like a deal worth taking. He's basically saying to the Spurs fan base, I think we should sign Timo Werner. As you can imagine, I lost my fucking shit. Even in football.london, he said Tottenham have £15 million transfer. No brainer. I loved it. I love these words that only our club uses. It's a no brainer. And what he's referring to, these data points, which I'm finding hard to believe. I need to do my own research on this, but versus all other Premier League wingers per 90 minutes, he comes first for successful dribbles, first for offensive duels won, first for crosses, and second for expected assists. He's in the 94+%. Right, okay, listen, right. That's the data that Ali Gold has then said, right, no brainer. I'm telling you, Spurs fans, Timo Werner, why I called this out and why I lost my shit is because of this. Number one, what the hell is expected assists? Like, you're expected to do something, but you didn't. Right? You were expected to do something, but you failed to do it. And we are giving him second place for that, as if it's... And I said, what? I literally said to him, what the fuck is expected assists? And then I asked him, why have you ignored all the metrics around shooting? I.e., he's only scored 2 goals. He's missed 4 big chances. By the way, this is now 5, not 4. His shooting accuracy is 24%. Why have you ignored all the metrics about his striking of a ball, which is horrendous? In fact, Timo Werner is one of the worst in the Premier League for this. He's horrific. Why have you ignored all of that? But you're telling the Spurs fan base that I think we should sign him because he's got good, because he's dribbled past the most and he's put the most crosses in and he's got the most Guys, what? Help me.
I want to know where he got his stats from, because when was the last time you saw him dribble past anyone?
Well,
but seriously, when did he dribble past anyone?
His expected assists are 2.9. Big chances.
JP, what is that? What is JP? What is an expected assist? That's like saying, Stel, you're expected to pull 3 birds tonight. You pulled none.
Here's a pass
to
you.
Am I now Casanova or am I Casanova?
Here's a pass to you. Here's a pass to you. Here's a pass to you in front of goal, and you've missed it.
What?
So if you didn't miss it, I would get an assist.
No. Do you know who the best at that is? Kulusevski. Kulusevski's created the most chances that have been scored. What is this? What we?
We're trying to give that stat some weight, and it's got no weight really.
It's the same as expected goals, though, isn't it? At the end of the day,
I'm trying to understand how a player who plays as an attacking forward. We don't play 4-4-2. We don't play 4-5-1. We don't play with wingers. We play with 3 attacking forwards. How an attacking forward who cannot score goals, who misses open goals, who misses the target. How are we saying, yeah, because he can cross a ball good once in a while, sign him? Like,
but he's not.
I don't understand this.
Though. He's not good at crossing, though. Not really.
He blasts at people, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he can barely. When he does cross with his left foot, it barely goes past the first post. This dribbling stat. When was what player did you last see him dribble past? Seriously. Like, give me. I need to see an example of him dribbling.
He doesn't really take a player on either, Maz.
No. Are we saying Timo Werner's a better dribbler than Phil Foden? Is this what we're doing?
It's nonsense.
Is this what we're doing?
He's an expected better dribbler than Phil Foden.
If he was a good dribbler, right? Spurs will be clipping him up and putting him on and doing shorts on their YouTube channel of him doing skills.
It says here, Maz is right. Where's all the clips? Look, it says here, successful dribbles, he's first. Are you telling me he's a better dribbler than Foden?
I've got it here, right, on SofaScore. Successful dribbles is 1 per game. That's the stat I'm seeing. Possession lost 9 times. Ground duels 1, 2. Aerial duels 0.1.
So in all seriousness, JP, where do we think he's got these stats from then? If he's doing 1 per game, does that mean that no one else in the whole Premier League does any more than 1
per game?
Yeah.
I can think of Jeremy Doku, who granted doesn't start every match for Man City, but even in the cameos, he looks like he dribbles past players. You know, the eye test surely is still the best gauge.
Take someone on. He's happy to go left, go right. Take
engage
that person on.
And engage. You know, Jack Grealish, he's going to engage his fullback. I just don't see any logical metric that can prove that that's correct.
Yeah,
At all.
dribbled pass per game 1.1. Just a joke. Tackles per game 0.5.
What?
It's yeah. So basically, in conclusion, it's absolute bollocks.
Yeah, it can't be correct. That can't be right.
It'd be interesting to see where Ali gets his had those stats from, because I presume someone's published it, right? Because
The stat,
he tends to verify things before he published it.
Why has he ignored every single stat involving striking a ball? Why has he ignored all of that? It's like saying, do you know what it's like doing? This is why I lost it with him, because he's a big account. He influences people's thinking. He's telling hundreds of thousands, not that hundreds of thousands of Spurs fans, Timo. And people believe this shit. Our fan base is so sucked into this stuff. Look,
it's the PR machine still. It's what I said last week, and then you've done a video. It's the whole PR machine around Spurs. They're trying to convince the fans that you know he's a good player for us to sign, guys. You know, they're teeing us up.
Listen, it only takes one person to believe a lie for it to be the truth. Yeah. So if they spin out this spiel that Timo Werner is, you know, the club like him, he's great in the dressing room, he's popular amongst the fan base, people lap that up. The best metric for me is Leipzig, who were in the top 4 and going for Champions League, and in the Champions League allowed Timo Werner to go out on loan in January. That tells you everything you need to know about Timo Werner. Why were Leipzig happy for him to go out on loan? Why are we picking up a player that can't make the matchday squad for Leipzig? Why are we picking him up?
Matt, I'll answer without messing around. I'll answer that honestly. Have you not seen the type of players we consistently sign for every single manager? You know, we've obviously signed some good players in the past, but in the last 5 years, we've been signing awful players. Sadly, who have we signed that's been really good? It's just been this season, right? Vicario,
Udogie,
and Udogie. You know, okay, Bentancur and Cooley were good when they first came under Conte in that first season. I thought they were excellent, right? But I mean, but they're not. We have this discussion week in, week out, right? All of us do. How many of our players would breach that top 4 team? They wouldn't get in unless we see them all play really well consistently. Then we can say, okay, maybe Bentancur, if he's on his top form, he might be able to get into one of those teams. Maybe, you know, if Maddison stays fit for a whole season. But I mean, Wayne Bonner warned us about all of what Maddison's like. He'll do brilliant, then he'll get injured, then he'll be rubbish. You know,
it's Leicester fan. He warned us.
Yeah,
he said this. Exactly. He called it to the
letter, right? So, I mean, Kulu, you know, I guess there's a reason why Juventus let him go, right? You know, I do like Kulu. You know, it pains me a little bit to dig him out like this, but he's had a long enough period this season where he needs to buck up his ideas, and unfortunately he hasn't. So, Matt, the players we sign, mate, are just not of the quality we need as a club to kick on. This is Levy. This is, you know, he's just building up to Levy land, basically. We're always going to sign these players all the time.
But you know what? That's a really good point. Sorry, just 2 seconds. That's a really good point.
Go.
Someone raised it just now that you just called up. Son's even come out said it.
Son?
He came out and said, Timo's doing really well, blah blah blah. We should make sure that he's signed up next year and stuff like that. Which again, he's also driving it, right?
Because he's telling
is he paying for them to get?
Come out and say it, does he?
Is Timo paying for these players to have strippers sent to their houses or something every Friday night? Like, what's he?
Hey, Heung-min Son's not like that, man.
Heung-min Son. How? do you know what? When I saw those stats that Ali Gold used to defend his argument, all I could think of was it's literally, here's all the data. I'll ignore all of this and let me just show you that. And no one questioned it. No one said a word. So to me, it's like saying this, right? This is how I interpreted it. Vicario is an amazing goalkeeper. Brilliant. Look at his stats: shot stopping, distribution, kicking the ball, leading the back line. But I'm not going to tell you he can't catch a ball. Can't catch a ball. I'll just ignore that bit. That changes everything.
But it's
Only you can't catch a ball.
Promoting stats, isn't it? You show stats to promote something that you want, basically.
The narrative, yeah.
It's like saying, here's the keys to a 6-bedroom mansion for free, but there's no front door. What the fuck have you given me the keys for then?
Yeah, I think fans should be asking themselves the question. Trossard was available January last year.
It was too old.
Available. Well, he's only a year older than Timo Werner. So Trossard was available, but he was 25, 26 million. So there's an article I sent to Star, if you put it there. He said he waited, his agent waited, Tottenham told him, be patient, we're interested, we're patient. Arsenal got wind of it. In 24 hours, a contract was there to be signed for Arsenal. So fans should be asking themselves the questions, why are we missing out on players like Trossard that can either go into the first 11 or come off the bench and be an impact player? And why are we signing Timo Werner?
I think
Matt,
deep down you know the answer, right?
Matt, have you not seen the last 24 years and how many players we've missed out on?
No, but this is what I'm saying. This is what the fans should be asking. The people that are lapping up this PR machine, they should sit back and go, but why did Trossard go to Arsenal? Because we were in for Trossard first.
We said that on our channel.
Well, look at Gordon. If you recall, in the summer, I said I would like Anthony Gordon to come. If we're going to get Maddison, we might as well get Gordon as well, right? And he's been quite good for.
Yeah, but I saw fans at the time, Maz, saying, "No, we don't want him. He's rubbish. We don't want that." Type of player.
They said he had a chip on his shoulder and he refused to play.
But we went and signed Solomon that no one wanted.
Do you know what? Let me ask you. Let me ask
no one knew
guys. Let me ask something. Let me ask something. Okay. We built this £1 billion stadium. We are the FFP kings. We've got more financial ability to spend money without breaking FFP rules. Whether we've got the money to spend how much we are allowed is a different story. But for FFP, we're number one in Europe, ahead of Real Madrid, United, all these clubs. Profit and sustainability, we're within the limits. Brand new stadium, record revenues, hotels, luxury apartments, Levy land, it's all being built, blah, blah, blah. Why is it Arsenal can spend £100 million on this man who has, without a doubt, taken them up a notch? And we're here as Spurs fans. And sorry, Matt?
It's intense. Arsenal have shown intent.
Matt, I was going to say, and we are doing this. We spend every week on every channel, on every media platform, arguing over Timo Werner, stay or go. We're linked with this guy, Somerville, who plays for Leeds. We're linked with this guy, Mohamed Amara. We're linked with this guy, Sebastian Szymanski. All of them are under 20 million pounds, right? Are you telling me we built a £1 billion stadium and this is how we're going to win the league title? Is that what we're saying? Have I missed? Did I miss? Was there a memo I never got sent?
Can I just play devil's advocate and flip it around a little bit and ask you a question to say, if Arsenal win F4 this season, is that £100 million well spent?
Great question.
Yeah, well,
Great question.
Yes,
you
yes,
could,
it is.
you
I'll
could,
tell you
yes,
why.
it
I'll
is
tell you why.
because they're sustaining a challenge and they're going into the last 6 games of the season challenging, right? So,
But if they win F4, what's the
JP,
difference
no,
between
but that's
second and
but
fifth?
go
JP,
on,
wait,
so
hold on.
you
Maz, I'll
answer it,
answer
then
this.
I'll answer it. Yeah.
I'll answer this. If they fall short on goal difference or a few points, they've improved from last season. They haven't capitulated at the end. Did they do better this season in Europe than previous seasons under Arteta? Yes, they did. Have they gone up a level? Yes. So they've signed him. He's young, Declan Rice, and he's there for 5 years. So if next season they go and buy a proper number 9,
The
and they
next
go
thing to the jigsaw.
and they buy a cover for left back, like, well, not cover, a proper out and out left back, suddenly the final 2 pieces are complete. Declan Rice is a piece that's now done. So I would say yes, but they must win a major trophy next season. So I would only really be able to answer this next season. If next season they don't, then I'd say, hold on a minute, what a fucking waste of money this has been then.
Yeah, and just to tag on to what you said, still, it's
a great question, by the way.
It's a fantastic question. It's £100 million well spent because you can build a team around him because he's a good player, and you can build a team around him, and you can add pieces around him. He'll be there for the next 5 years, 5-6 years. So from that point of view, is money well spent because he's going to hang around.
I just think it shows intent. You know, it shows the rest of the dressing room that, let's be honest, should have won the league last season. They didn't sit on their laurels. They didn't rest on their laurels. The ownership, the recruitment team said, bang, we're going to go and spend 105 million on Declan Rice. So all of a sudden, in the first training session he turns in, they're like, everybody's levels increase. Declan Rice is in the dressing room. They're going to spend 65 million on Kai Havertz. Whether you like him or you don't, it shows intent. Had that have been Tottenham, we'd have spent 100 million on 7 players. Or instead of Declan Rice, we'd have signed Annika Rice. You know, that's how we operate.
It's actually you're absolutely spot on.
That's nutty, right?
And to give an example of
Jasmine Rice.
Right, and to give an example of when Spurs done that, when we signed Jurgen Klinsmann, it elevated that whole team for that season he was there.
Sheringham raised his levels. Everybody
raised his game. Anderton started to play. Well, everyone raised their games. Now, look what happened. He came in, he realised where Tottenham were going to go, and he left, right? Then all of a sudden, Sheringham said, right, it's time for me to go, right? So it can have two things can happen when you show that intent. You can, like you said, it will raise everyone's game. Everyone's all of a sudden competing and they're feeding off Klinsmann and his knowledge and his quality. But then if he goes, they're like, oh, hold on a minute, why is that really good player leaving us? So Rice, the great thing about what they've done is they've signed £100 million player, shown their intent, and they know that he's not going anywhere, which then keeps the good players around the club wanting to stay because they can see the path that they're going down. With Spurs, exactly what Stel said, with all these players we're linked with, what does that show? Son and Kane, or Kane's gone, but what does that show, Son? Well, it shows them that we ain't.
That Van der Ven folks, you're going to have people knocking on their door, aren't they?
Look, we got to not just bashing Levy for the Levy followers, but because he brought in Van der Ven, he brought in Udogie, he brought in Vicario. So this isn't all just bashing Levy, but my biggest criticism.
But Matt, he also brought in Velis, and Solomon, and Phillips, and
balance, of course. But what I'm saying is, my criticism of Daniel Levy is Arsenal haven't hit Champions League for 6 seasons, and the first season, season 7, they qualify for the Champions League. They go and spend Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, and Timber. Right, intent. Everybody all of a sudden goes, Arsenal aren't effing around, right? When Tottenham had that sustained Champions League qualification, I think 4 years out of 5 or something like that, we were still buying or signing Clement Lenglet's and Fraser Forster's and Joe Rodens. So nothing changed. What is the point of qualification for the Champions League? It doesn't elevate Tottenham. We're still shopping in Lidl.
That's what we've been saying, Matt.
Right, let me read
years.
something out to you. Right, so Tony Rodriguez in the chat has just sent me something. Let me read this out to you. The top 5 Premier League attacks by value. Okay, so Man City, Doku, Alvarez, Grealish, Haaland, total 221 million. Liverpool, Diaz, Gakpo, Jota, Salah, Nunez, total 216 million. Arsenal, Havertz, Trossard, Jesus, Martinelli, Saka, 150 million. Aston Villa, Watkins, Diaby, Bailey, Duran, Rogers, Buendia, 152 million. Spurs, Werner, Johnson, Solomon, Son, Richie, Kulu, 142 million. 2 of them are freebies. We have got the cheapest invested attack. And just so you know, of these attacks, Man City have got 4 players, Liverpool have got 5, Arsenal have got 5, Aston Villa have got 5. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So not only have we spent the least, we've bought the most.
Yeah.
Technically, I suppose
pay peanuts, you get monkeys.
If you were to take the freebies out, right?
And really,
freebies out on the 4 players or whatever it is.
Yeah, and really, if you take Johnson out, it's under 100 million.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you.
Well, it's literally Richarlison and Johnson, isn't it? Is the big money. That's your 100 million
That's
there.
it, yeah. And what absolute
shit.
He just he fell asleep. Look, he fell asleep at the wheel. He had a golden goose in Harry Kane.
For 3 decades. He's been asleep for 3 decades.
He had Harry Kane and Son. That rain or shine, they gave you 50 to 60 goals and assists every season between a pair of them. It's a golden goose.
Piss them up
it's a golden goose. So had Arsenal, had Man City, had Chelsea, had Liverpool, had Son and Kane, look at the signings they would have made around that.
Forget it.
You look at the signings. And in fact, it's actually only cost Levy 22 million because Kane came through the academy. So he's actually, for having 60 goals and assists, it's cost him 22 million, barring their wages.
So where does this great businessman come into it then, Matt?
Off the field. Off the field. No, I've got to give him credit.
Listen, but off the field, it's just as financial, because you say if we were to have a little bit of a decent squad, keep qualifying for Europe, you'd get the TV revenue, you'd get increased shirt sales and all of that good stuff that comes with being a successful football team, right? So it's that you pay in what you get out, right? So that part of the business he's totally switched off on, in where you can also make a shed load of money.
Yeah, all in my opinion, Levy just wants us relevant. Just hover around top 4, dip your toe in, group stage, second phase of the knockout stage of Champions League.
He's got no interest. Look, he's revealed he's got no interest in winning.
No,
you know, right?
Because it costs money. It costs money to win.
But as an example, right? So everyone in the chat realizes he told Jose Mourinho to prioritize the Premier League over winning the cup. If he had an interest in winning trophies, he would never have said anything to Mourinho about what he should be doing. In fact, he shouldn't even be talking to Mourinho about football. He should just let him get on with his job. You know, why is he even talking to him about football? He shouldn't, right?
So, yeah.
I just don't understand why we've built a £1 billion stadium. So our rivals can do this, and we are looking at these. These are the kind of players we're looking at, and at the same time, our manager is saying we're going to mount a title charge next season. I don't know what planet our fan base is on believing this. I just don't understand what planet we're on. They might be okay players. They might turn out to do some good. But you're not going to tell me that this is going to win us a league title when our rivals are signing one player who just elevates the whole club. And I guarantee you this summer, with the Champions League money they've earned,
they'll buy another player like that. Yeah,
who plays up front and bags 25 goals next season. They'll buy Ollie Watkins. They'll buy Isak. You wait and see. They'll do it. And then, and then we will sit here saying, "Oh, but be patient because Jimmy Somerville, whatever his name is going to come good."
Jimmy Somerville.
He's going to come good.
Look.
Mohamed Amura, Mohamed Lucas Moura, he's going to come good. Sebastian Szymanski, he's going to come. I've got to go on YouTube. Every time we sign a player, I've got to go on YouTube.
Rose must be like, still going on YouTube, still Googling everyone.
Ultimately, it's not even about the money. It's not.
Why can't we just sign a proven player? Why can't we just sign Scalia? Why can't we go and sign Bowden? Why can't we sign a player that we say, do you know what? I know who he is. He's fucking good. He's good, man. Why can't we do that?
But this is it. This is it. He's never ever done that, and we bang on about this week in, week out. We've done it for years on this channel. Do people not realise what Levy's about now? This is why I can. I don't, with this club, I can't be a glass half full type person because you see the patterns just repeat over and over and over again, right? When we signed Ndombele, I was like, okay, it's a lot of money to spend from someone, coming from Lyon. Yeah, he was hyped up, and yeah, he might turn out to be really good. But I thought, yeah, it would have been better if he spent that money on someone I'd actually really wanted, that we'd heard of. No, we signed Ndombele. We took the gamble. He didn't work out. He loves McDonald's more than he does playing football, right? Lo Celso, I thought, okay, Lo Celso's, I've seen him for Argentina. Looks quite good at Real Betis, but he wasn't a top European player. He was an up and coming player. He had potential, but he wasn't a top European player. We don't go out and we don't buy the established elite players. We just do not do it ever.
Yeah,
and that's I think. Why, sorry, Matt. I was just going to say, Stell's video at the weekend is something that if you guys haven't seen it yet, go and watch it. But
we're investing in a property investment fund. Fact.
Purely, he said it up front, right? And I don't, in a way, I don't know why we're expecting anything different.
No, but
exactly, yeah.
Exactly.
Could I just say Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, thank you, Brian Daigle, for letting me know. Tottenham Hotspur Football Club have tweeted, "We hold the record for the most different Premier League goal scorers. 171 different players have scored for us in the competition. How many can you name? Take the quiz below." And literally every comment is carnage. Every comment is carnage. Trophies, where the trophies? This is a pointless record. 2 decades one. They literally what a trophy. Someone's even cussing them in Korean, and someone's had to translate the Korean language so we understand that.
Still,
mate.
No, still, they did another post. I think it was today.
Enoch made me sick. They're getting battered. Why would you do that?
Still, they did another post where they congratulated a Tottenham fan for doing some marathon or something like that. He got a Guinness World Record, whatever it was, right? Doing a marathon. You're like, what the fuck has that got to do with football? Like, we've got nothing to talk about as a club, so we're just going to congratulate these random fans.
Do you know what?
Things like that are all right to do if you're winning stuff and someone in a happy place.
Someone said something during the live show when I was doing explaining why Levy's fooled everyone, right? Someone said the gentrification has begun inside the stadium. By putting the ticket prices up, by putting the drinks prices up, you are pricing out the working class from the actual sport. And an American fan came in the chat and said, in America, a lot of fans don't even go to NFL games in certain towns because they've been priced out. So what you've got is like a middle-class American sports fan. Levy's seen this model, and probably other Premier League owners have seen that model, and that's what they want. Squeeze the elderly out, bring in people that are going to spend more money getting drunk, eating all the food and drink, buying the merchandise. The elderly can't be bothered with all that anymore. Been there, done it. I just want to meet up with my mates, have 1 pint of beer, go home. It literally is every decision being made at our club. The question that is asked before they tick off any decision is, do we make money from this?
Absolutely.
Do we profit?
Yep.
And if the answer is no, or the answer is it's risky, don't do it. Then we're not interested. And I think this is what hurts me as a fan is when I see them look down the road sign Declan Rice for 100 million. I see Stan Kroenke, who's only been there for 5 years, who's got a track record of winning the NFL, the NBA, lacrosse, ice hockey. They've got a winner in charge of their club who actually cares about winning trophies. And you see the intent on the pitch. Okay, they're struggling to quite beat Man City, but fuck me, they're close, man. And you look at us,
still,
and we're signing Werner, Jimmy Somerville, Smansky, Amoras. I'm like, who are these people? Like, what is going on here?
I said several weeks ago that I think it was on the Saturday night show, post game. I said when these owners come into these football clubs, when they make their statements, and you highlighted this again on your video, which was a good shout. A lot of these billionaire owners, they're buying football clubs for the glory. Right?
Yeah,
to
win.
elevate themselves, to win. It's not about making money because they're already billionaires. It doesn't matter, right?
It's like when they have their chats with their friends. Oh, like I've got this cup.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But with Enoch and Levy, then probably they're not in that class of billionaire, right? They're aspiring to be that type of billionaire.
No, Maz, you're wrong.
So all they're thinking about, maybe. But let me just land the point. Right? But so all they're thinking about, right, is building Levy land, right? That's all they're thinking about, right? And the statement that in reference to them building a sports entertainment business is all geared towards that. So I genuinely think, despite Son being one of our best ever players, one of the main reasons why he's still at the club is because he brings in that fan base from abroad,
tourism, merchandise.
Exactly.
Half of me, sorry, Matt. Matt's next, right? After watching that video, I was like, I really don't want to carry on my season ticket and just totally give up with football whatsoever because it's just never going to happen, right? Nothing is going to happen. What's the point? I might as well spend my money on something. Like what? 10, 15 years I've had a season ticket.
My friend,
right?
JP, my friend.
Is, why should I let him push me out?
That's the trap. That's where we're trapped. This is where we're trapped. I spoke to my friend who works for PwC, biggest accounting firm in the world. He's partner there. And I showed him my video and I said, look, do me a favor, right? I did accountancy and finance at uni. But that's academia. You live in the real. You do it in the real world. There's theory and practice to do different things. What do you think? And he said to me, all these property companies under that are subsidiaries of the group, the Tottenham Hotspur group, it's all there purely to maximize the taxation benefits of all the revenue streams that the club is the club ventures, to consolidate losses. So if a couple of businesses lose money, fine, we can consolidate it through the others, to be able to lend money between companies. So basically move money between accounts. And he's gearing up for something bigger. They're gearing up for other projects. And he said to me, you're more than a football club. You literally are a project. And he said it in a more articulate financial terminology. I can't remember the top of my head, if I'm honest with you. But he agreed with me. He said, yeah, it's clear. you're going to do more and more. And when I said to him about, but who will benefit the most out of this? At the end of the day, who will benefit? And he said, at the end of the day, you're a company. The shareholders, the equity stakeholders, the owners, they will always benefit out of this more than anyone else. You don't do all of this just so you can spend an extra £20 million on a player. He goes,
you don't need to do any research. They've told us what they want to do. They've told us what they want to do. Not only that, is you got what's his name, Simon Jordan, on TalkSport reiterating what they're going to do. So, what else can you do? They're telling us what they're going to do, and they're doing it. Go on, Matt.
Go, Matt.
For me, I think it's a very well orchestrated business. You know, they maximize their revenue streams in regards to how much they can get out of fans. I don't know if you heard this weekend, but Tottenham per fan at their actual respective stadium spend the most money. Did you hear that this weekend? Per fan, we spend, it's something like £75 per person, and the next closest is about 69 or 70. So they make sure every fan, on average, who comes through the gates at Tottenham Stadium spends per fan. It's startling.
That's why, Matt, you have lots of, because that's what he wants, right? You're kind of like day trippers almost, right? Because people who come from far and away, they're not there. They can't go to the shop every week, every 3 months, whatever it is.
It's
so
a corporate day.
When they come, they'll buy a shirt, a scarf, a Harry Kane wobbly head, or whatever they can get hold of. They'll buy all of that, spend £200-300, and that's it. That's the model, right?
Alton Towers. It's Euro Disney.
Let me tell you something else. Okay, so my friend, his son plays rugby, and they got tickets to go to White Hart Lane for the Harlequins versus Saracens match. Right? He's an Arsenal fan. He calls me up afterwards. He said, "Mate, your stadium's incredible." I said, "Yeah, it is nice." He goes to me, "It's better than the Emirates, but it's you're still shit." I went, "All right, yeah, fair enough. But you've won fuck all, and what?" And then we had a bit of back and forth, bit of banter. He goes to me, he goes, "But you know what, mate? It's a joke though, in there, isn't it? He's taking the mick." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "A pint of beer was £8." I said, "Sorry." He goes, "Mate, we're paying £8 a big for Carlsberg."
Fucking
sold a bit. I'll go, hold on.
Though, is it?
£8 a beer.
Wait. Because, mate, you sure? He screenshotted his card transaction banking app. I said to him, "Oh my God. In the Beaver Town, £8.50. I'm like, "God, but mate, on a match day, it's £5.50 or £5.75. Because he knew the rugby fans are middle class, he's whacked £2-3 on the beer. So I said to him, "Okay, mate, was there a lot of you?" He goes, "Yeah." So he started telling me, "So do me a favour, ask anyone if they bought any food, so you've got a little WhatsApp group with them." Comes back to me, "Yeah, £3.50 for tea." It's probably £2.
But this is to be honest, though, the whole of London's getting like this, though.
No, but Maz, he put up the prices because
the
rugby crowd are middle class, upper class.
But that's a sign of the future, right? That is where the drinks prices will go with Spurs. They'll creep it up every year, especially if they get Champions League. It will creep up, and we'll make even more money.
But then Timo Werner and Manor Solomon can't come through the door. We have to be looking, and by the way,
but the fans, Matt, the fans do not care. We're the only channel that talks about this stuff, right?
So for if you
and Brian Daigle,
and Brian Daigle, big up Brian,
yeah,
and Danny, and all those.
And by the way, we're not expecting
And
every
Alan, actually,
80
Alan
million,
does it.
every 80 million pound player or every 100 million pound player Tottenham have got a bid for. We're not saying that. But when Sadio Mane, who Pochettino had already done the deal with from Southampton to Tottenham, when Sadio Mane is having a medical at Tottenham and the deal is 35 million, take it or leave it, and Levy does his famous, I'll give you 30 million, and then Southampton say 2 fingers, and then Liverpool get wind of the deal, and the next thing you know, he's in a Liverpool shirt, and then to backtrack, the same transfer window, who did Tottenham sign? Moussa Sissoko for 30 million.
Yeah.
You know,
It
these
happens
are just
all the
travesties of justice.
But Matt,
travesties.
The fans
Our
should be.
fans get
When we
sucked in.
say
They get
we
sucked in
shouldn't be
every time.
asking for those 78 million pound players, no, we should be asking for them, because back in the day we were asking for these players. You know, 80s and 90s, we were used to signing big name players, right? Now, he's just conditioned us to sign average players. And every now and again we hit gold, you know, the Berbatovs and the Modric's and stuff like that, and Bale. But I genuinely think he's the luckiest chairman to ever be alive. That the fact that he's stumbled on Bale and Kane following each other, 2 elite superstar players.
Well, I think he was lucky. He's certainly lucky with Kane because he didn't cost a red button. And by the way, if he had to buy Harry Kane, he would have never wore a Tottenham shirt. You do know that. We would have never paid the fee to buy Harry Kane. That's just what I'm saying.
But his luck's run out now.
Goose.
Yeah,
he
but
had
Matt, his
Harry
luck's
Kane.
run out.
He had Harry Kane and Son that for 8 or 9 years guaranteed you 50 to 60 goals and assists. All he had to do is build on that. That's all he had to do.
His problem now, and I've been banging on about this for since the start of the season, is we don't have any succession planning for our superstars, i.e. they knew Kane was going and they did nothing. And now I think that the wind's gone out of our sails with that. We're going to sign some random striker from somewhere we've never heard of, right? And Son, he's going to go in the next year or 2, right? We've got no one lined up for him to replace him. No one.
Yeah,
right.
I agree with that.
Who's the next superstar in the team? Okay, Van der Ven. Assuming he stays fit and assuming he carries on his current trajectory.
But you can see a big money club, like a bigger club coming for him, right?
But that's it. We've got no superstars in the team.
Give Solomon a chance, mate. Give him a chance.
Yeah. Well,
Timo next season he'll be stronger.
Sorry, go.
I've just missed a couple of super chats. A user says, I know we've done this one. Sorry, this one. Beg your pardon, A's user. Don't worry. Roma want Werner. There is actually news of this. There is actually news that Roma might want Timo Werner. And
believe it when I see it.
Mate, apparently Alistair Gold today did a video. And on the video he said he doesn't understand why Spurs fans turned against him for wanting Timo Werner. He said, I don't understand.
Surprised he never called you out by name still.
No, but I got blocked pretty sharpish. Surprise. I do want to quickly change the subject to the last thing. But before we go to the last thing, I've got to bring this up, man. I have to. The new Arsenal kit. Is it me? Or is there a red bottle in the middle of it?
Yeah.
Have they got to put a bottle in the middle of their kit?
Oh Lord.
Anyway. Last thing I want to talk about league table
with the blue piping, isn't it? If it didn't have the red in the middle.
Mate, that is very Spursy. That is very Spursy.
If it didn't have that red bit in the middle, that could almost be a Spurs top.
Jesus Christ. The league table. Now, is it too soon to say that we've blown top 4?
Yes. No.
I don't care about top 4, man.
No, I don't care about top 4. Why do we talk about top 4 still?
I honestly don't want top 4. I really
Champions
don't want
League because listen, hold on. The reason I brought it up is because after Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool all crashing out of Europe, Atalanta progressing, by Leverkusen progressing and whatnot, it's now odds on that fifth place Champions League spot's going to go to Germany and Italy. So fifth place all season, we've been saying Spurs can do it. So as long as we get fifth, well, that's gone. So the reason I brought it up is because for anyone that cares about these things, I know a few of us don't, but Champions League football, I think with the games we've got left, I think Aston Villa need to win one more game and they've done it. I think if Villa get to 69 points, I think they've done it.
I also think we're in danger of Newcastle going on.
They're okay. But for Newcastle to catch us, they've got to win all their last 6 games, which is 18 points. And we've got to only win 1 or 2.
Yeah, but
I don't
okay, we've got Arsenal. Who have we got left? Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man City.
Hold on. Let's look at their fixtures.
Liverpool.
Right, Newcastle.
Liverpool.
Newcastle have got Crystal Palace away, and their manager's turning it around there. He's turning it around. They've got Sheffield United at home. They'll win that. Burnley away. They'll probably win that. Brighton. It's anyone's game. Man United. You just don't know what Man United is going to turn up. And then last game of the season, Brentford away, tricky. So it's fair to say that Newcastle will win. Definitely 1, 2, 3. So that's 9 points. They're still 1 point behind us. Do you honestly think Newcastle will win all these last 6 games, guys?
They've got a lot better chance than what we've got.
We've also got Sheffield United and Burnley, right?
And we've got a 10-point lead already.
Who could be relegated by the time we play them.
And we've got a 10-point lead. Well, we've got Arsenal, Chelsea,
Sheffield United and Burnley,
Liverpool,
then we've got
Burnley, Man City, and Sheffield United. We've got the
so
hardest running.
So we might not even win. We might win 2 games out of our last 6.
Yeah, which is 6 points.
There you go.
Yeah, but Maz, if we get
and
6,
they have to win every single one, Maz.
They will have to win every single game.
Have you not seen how we finished previous seasons?
Wait, can I ask you a question? Hold on 1 second here. If you come 5th or 6th, are they both Europa Cup or not?
Yes, they are.
So it doesn't matter if we come 6th. It doesn't.
Yeah,
matter.
but is 6 not that Conference League?
No, 7th,
isn't it? 7th.
No,
is,
7th. 7th is conference.
Although, can I just say something? Man United in the FA Cup final, and they're 7th. If they win the FA Cup, they go Europa, and then.
And what happens if Villa win the cup?
Sixth place goes into Conference League.
Still, what
I swear to God, ask this to me now. No, hold on. I swear to God, if anyhow the stars align and we're in the Conference League, I am going to blow up YouTube. I'm going to go.
And
nuts.
Eric Dyer wins the Champions League.
But if Villa win their cup because they're in Europe, right? Like what are Villa in
Europa?
Like conference or Europa?
Yeah.
So if they win, they'll qualify for the Champions League by winning that, right?
Yeah.
No.
Which means 4th.
Yeah, that's right.
Which means they can't have.
No, JP, no
Europa.
JP. Aston Villa's in the Conference League. They
if they win that, but that'd be academic because if they get 4th anyway, they've got Champions League.
So then the extra Europa spot goes where? Mate, listen, should we just for the sake of complications and not knowing the rules, should we just say that Spurs
We've got
we don't get 4th
regardless. We got
get
Europe.
5th.
Yeah, but we're just making sure it's not Conference League.
We've probably got more chance of winning the Conference League, right?
We don't going to win anything. It doesn't matter what competition we're in, JP.
It doesn't matter if we get Europa or not.
I know. I don't care. Just like
okay. Do you guys? Okay. The question I asked that no one's answered, other than Maz, I think. I can't even remember because we've gone off on one. Can Spurs get top 4 or not now? I've said all along, I've said we will get top 4, even though we lost to Newcastle. I've always said it. This is the first time now I think I'm in the mud.
What?
I think I actually think Villa are going to get it. I think Villa are now. I think we fucked it.
I think I think in support of
fuck's it.
Ange, we should want him to get top 4, so he's got a stronger case to say to Levy, look, you got to stump up some money so I can get the players I want. That is my only thing for finishing top 4. If Ange isn't a puppet and actually can think for himself and do that.
Big up to CMO Sports Super Chat. He says, "Is the pitch looking good for Tottenham still?" In case no one knows, we've won the greenest award for best pitch, and Connor, I don't care anymore. I'm past caring with all these awards.
The
but yes,
pitch is
my man.
prime, Connor.
Thank you for your super chat. Yeah, look. So, see, this is the argument Dietrich's Kane had. I don't know if you watched the last show, the post-match show after Newcastle on the Sunday. Dietrich said he wants Spurs to get top 4. Even though, listen to this, he's Ange out. He wants him gone, but he wants us to get top 4 because then there can be no excuses for Levy not to spend money on Ange. And that ties into what you just said, Maz.
But yeah, I was just thinking to caveat that though. What did Levy do with Conte? Got him the pigeon.
What? Or any manager.
That was the prime time to go big, right? That was the prime time to go big.
Was
Conte
the prime
as a
time.
manager, beat Arsenal. The team was on a high. That's your.
We
that's
thought
time.
if
the players.
We all thought
Look at that. That's like I remember this at the start of the season, right? Everyone talking about that.
Yeah, only one team has ever failed. Only one team has ever failed in 30 years. Well, it's going to be us now, anyway. Matt, what's your thinking on all this? Top 4 done, dusted, or we still got an outside chance? Are you confident? Are you written it off? Do you care where we finish?
Gosh, in what order? Villa have got to be favourites. They seem to have the momentum. I think the Arsenal result was huge for them. We are inconsistent and we've got the tougher fixtures. So they're the favourites. I think we've got a result in us in those games of death, if you want to call it, which is Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool and Chelsea. One of those somehow will get a result, I'm convinced. Do I want top 4? I don't think it makes much difference. Listening to Ange, I think he's tried to make it very clear that the targets are the targets, whether we got top 4 or if we didn't. You could look in that in a couple of ways. You could look at it and go, because we're shopping in Aldi and Lidl anyway, we were going to sign those players whether we made Champions League or not. So I don't think it makes much difference. I think there's a recruitment team. There's some financial budget there. And I think they've run the list of players. From what I understand off the record, conversations have already taken place with most of these players that are on the list to sign. So I generally don't think it makes any difference whether we make top 4 or finish 5th or 6th. I think it will be the same players that we go after. So I'm with, I can't remember if it was JP or Maz, one of them said, I don't think it makes a difference. I'm with them. I don't think it changes anything.
I think we'll make top 4 if we beat Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool.
What's wrong with you?
In other words,
What is wrong with you? Yeah. Look, I'll tell you what. If we come through the next 3 games without losing, I will massively compliment Ange. Like massively compliment him if he can pull that off. Because that will be.
So now you're saying what I said. If we beat Arsenal, we go on a good run, then he deserves credit.
Just took me a bit of time to get there. That's all. Just took me a bit of time to get there. Yeah.
I just like the way that we managed to turn Matt, more negative this show. I think that's quite.
I'm quite proud actually. I think it's good. I think we've done well.
No. Look, I still look. I am a huge Ange fan. Just in case anyone wasn't sure, I'm a huge Ange fan, and I think whether we finish 4th or whether we finish 6th next season, we are going to surprise teams. And I know the mindset at the moment is we've been worked out, we've been figured out. I don't subscribe to that. I just think players are not performing in key parts of the pitch, which is causing us to turn the ball over too often when we are set going that way, and it's causing us problems. I think if he gets the players that can keep the ball under pressure more often than not, will cause more trouble going that way than going that way.
Matt,
So
can I ask you?
How do you defend? No, sir, hold on, Matt. How do you defend Ange then when he says that we're going to win the league next year?
Well, he said we'll challenge. He said we'll challenge.
Challenge. All right, challenge. Yeah, because no one can guarantee they're going to win. We're going to challenge.
Correct. How do I? What was the question? How do I?
Because you said you're a massive fan, right?
Yeah.
So you know, then that's fair. You know, don't know why you're a massive fan, but that's fair. That's fair, right? But how can you? If you're a massive fan of him, how can you then? How do you reconcile him saying we're going to challenge for the title next year? How do you think he's going to get there?
By getting players more in his image of what he sees as successful, retaining the ball, playing in the final third, not turning the ball over as frequently as we are, being brave under pressure.
But you were just saying in the show,
yeah,
that we don't ever sign, you know, the caliber of players that we really want to see, right? Your Kvaratskhelia and all that type of player, right? Your 50, 60, 70, 80 million pound players.
That's
right?
established players,
right? Yeah, exactly, right? So you think he's going to be able to get the players he wants by those players that still had up on his screen that I've got no idea who they are. I'm going to have to Google them at the end of the show. I'm being serious now.
I think it's probably more Maz about the style.
No,
right?
I was trying to. I'm probing Matt because you know we all talk behind the scenes and stuff like that. I've seen Matt on many shows now for a few years, right? But this is the first time I've had the chance to interrogate him on.
Please do.
On the thing, right?
Yeah.
Because I think if you think that he's just going to go and sign, I think if he's going to go and
the
sign,
Eminem show.
Yeah, if he's going to go and sign the type of players like Timo, as an example, and the Solomons and stuff, doesn't matter whether Ange thinks they're good or not. The reality is that they're probably not going to be as good as what we think they're going to be, or Ange thinks they're going to be. And this is the Premier League. This isn't Scotland where you can do that. This isn't the J League, Australia, and that's why where you say I'm a big fan. That's where I get really confused, because like, you're a fan of what, him doing well in the lesser leagues or him doing well in the Premier League?
I'm a fan of the intent. I think the first 10 games of the season gave me huge optimism. Now, to caveat that, the other side of the fence, people say nobody knew the system. He crept up on teams. People didn't know how we played. That's why we got a lucky break. But in my opinion, I like the front foot. We're going to play in the opponent's half. We're going to press, turn the ball over, high up the pitch. We're going to get after teams, and we're going to be swashbuckling. That's the theory. So let me just finish. So at the moment, he's inherited players that can't consistently play at that pace and play under that pressure. He's inherited a lot of those players. But what has impressed me is how quickly he was able to transmit his message and the players to carry them out. The Chelsea game, obviously, it all fell down. And since then, we've had inconsistency, injuries, and then bad performances.
Right. So how do you reconcile that versus the optimism we had when Conte got us fourth? Why weren't you as positive back then once Conte got us fourth? Right. Is it purely because you didn't like his style of football?
I wasn't a fan of his style of football, even though it was successful when he came in November or whatever time he came in. So I think he picked up a team that was lost. He quickly got a defensive, solid base, and we got results. But I always felt it was a marriage made in hell. And I always thought, because of his personality, because of his demeanor, it was always going to unravel quickly. And it did. Where I think with Ange, I think he's able to work with a smaller budget and transmit a style of play that is cohesive to how he wants the game to be played. I think Conte wants a certain level of player, and if it's anything below that, he'll down tools. They'll be training with the kids and they won't be anywhere near the first team. Where I think with Ange, the jury's out, by the way. Let me just say the jury's out whether this will actually happen. But I like his intent. He's given me a slice.
But Conte's intent was just as high as Ange's. In fact, you could argue it was higher, right? And he had a far worse team than Ange does, I think, in my opinion. Right? He had the Sanchez, Dyer, Davies. Who was our wing backs? Long gap. Who was our wing backs at the time? Sorry, guys, I've forgotten.
Emerson Royal, Ben Davies.
Royal. Yeah, I mean, it was the horrific back line. You had Lloris that stayed far too long at Spurs, and he was on the decline. Right. So we're not going to waste time and go through the whole team, right? He had a far worse team. Yet when he left, right, we weren't even playing well, but we were fourth, and he left. Right, so I just get confused when everyone's got all of this. Like, not everyone, sorry, but a lot of people have this optimism for Ange purely on the fact that we're playing a little bit better football, which I don't actually really think he's actually better football. It's high possession football, granted, but I think it's really wasteful football, and it's really high risk, confusing football. That
at times. No doubt about it.
I get just as much frustration with Ange as what what I did with Conte.
But we've played on our terms, Maz. And what I mean by that is we went to the Emirates, and it's one of the first times that I can remember in a long time we went to the Emirates and played on our terms. We didn't play smash and grab. We didn't play we'll pick your pockets and hit you on the break. We played front foot, offensive football at the Emirates. And for me, that's the way I want Tottenham to play. That's how Keith Birkinshaw set us up. Now, granted, we never won the league under Keith Birkinshaw, but we went after teams. We played 5 in midfield, we played Clive Allen up front, and we went after teams. And now, granted, we don't have that level of player at the moment, I understand. But what I'm saying is he's almost kind of set the blueprint, and he doesn't have the tools to play that way at the moment over a sustained period.
But Conte did the same thing, and we did.
No, but we played more defensive. It's harder to score goals than to defend goals. So to play Ange's style of football is very risky because you're open, you're vulnerable.
But I don't buy this, Matt, because Conte's Inter team was a really good footballing team, right?
Conte's.
Yeah, right. So just yes, right.
Yeah.
So he came to Spurs with poor quality tools. Let's put it in that respect, and the poor quality tools effectively sabotage the way he normally plays his football. If he had the players he's got now, I think he would have just naturally it would have been better football because the players would have been better. Do you see what my point is?
Yeah, look, I think the last couple of games has tipped some people's opinion of Ange, and I understand that. The Newcastle game was an absolute car crash, was horrific. And there are parts of this open, expansive game that I'm hoping will be tweaked. But the premise is what I like. Play on the front foot. We have 62% possession at home and away. We average this season. Now,
but that means nothing if you don't win.
Hang on, let me just finish though, Maz. But if we've got high takers of chances and creator of chances, if we can translate that position by having assassins in 2 or all of the front 3, I think that 62% possession that we're having home and away will result in more goals created and more goals taken. And I think that will take us further up the league. Is he too open at times? Of course he is. Do we need that midfield dynamo that protects and is a shield for the back 4? Yes. That's the things that I'm hoping he will introduce as this system progresses. But I think what he's doing is putting his peg in the ground and saying, this is how we're playing. I don't want you to think half. Maybe I thought we're playing this way.
Yeah, I guess just to conclude where I'm going with this, I guess my frustration is, and it's not specifically at you, Matt, but my frustration is that a lot of people didn't like Conte because effectively he was too. I guess, in my point of view, straight talking and his football, certainly in his second season, wasn't that great. We weren't playing that well, albeit we were fourth. But they lost faith with an elite manager that had a poor team under him, albeit he had Son and Kane, right? Ange, he's come in. We're playing high possession football, but everyone's got putting their faith in Ange, they really like him, based on what? Just because it's good football. I think if I don't see a reason why you wouldn't like Conte just as much as Ange, just based on the types of football they're playing. Because Conte's intention was, I'm going to come to Tottenham, I want to change the mentality, I'm going to get them to win cups in the league, right?
Yes.
And then we failed him as a club. Ange comes in. Right, everyone's like, okay, well, he's Ange, he doesn't have the same record, but just because he plays front football and he talks nice to the camera, we're going to give him grace this season, and everything's going to be fine. And I don't subscribe to that.
No, I'm not giving him grace, and he needs to improve, and he needs to be a little bit more adaptable to the opposition we're playing. I'm on that page as well. But can you honestly, Maz, say, when Conte signed for Spurs, could you honestly see him lasting his 2 years of his contract?
I don't see any manager lasting. That's the problem. The problem I've got is I'm too scarred with Levy to have positive feelings.
It was a match made in hell. It was never going to last. It was never, ever going to. You've got one of the most combative managers with a chairman who's inflexible.
But remember, okay, so when we sack Poch, Jose comes in. Oh, that's Levy's last chance. Jose, gets rid of Jose cup final. Then Nuno comes in. He's got to do something in Nuno. No manager wanted the job apart from Nuno, right? He's going to make us proud. Oh, okay, he failed. Okay, well, it's definitely Levy's last chance this time. Conte comes in. Oh, okay, well, he's failed. Oh, Ange's definitely his last chance this time. And then you watch, he's going to get sacked next season for whatever reason. And then we're going to be like, oh, okay, I don't know. We're going to get some other manager to come in, Scott Parker or something. It's definitely his last chance this time. We're just hopping from one manager to another, hoping that something's going to happen. So that's why I don't have any faith in the manager.
What do you think, Stel? What do you think?
It's like bouncing, isn't it, from one manager to the other? But it's like literally all he's doing is buying another 3 years.
Right? Buying himself time.
He does. Yep, exactly.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
The next hotel goes up, we'll buy someone else, keep fans quiet, chuck a mediocre, reasonably good player into there, keep them quiet for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Absolutely spot on.
Keep going. That's what it is.
Sorry, Stowe.
Yeah, no. Listen, anyone who calls our channel an echo chamber and all you do is bash Levy, I thought that was a really good discussion between you two. And
I'm not for Levy, but sorry, Stowe. I'm not for Levy at all.
I know. But what I'm saying is we get bashed for being an echo chamber. And I thought that was far from an echo chamber. I thought that was a good discussion between two people who had different views. For me, I was fully on board with Ange pre-season because I was yes, because I am a coach, I was stunned how quickly he got them playing that brand of football. I've not seen a manager do that quick, especially a lot of them who are washed out. Then obviously the season started. We got to a good start. I thought, brilliant. This guy is, yeah. But as the season's gone on and as he's been tested the way previous managers have with regards to the tools that he's got, the kind of window that we had in January, the rhetoric that's coming out from the PR machine, the things that he's started to say, for me, my heart says stay on board, but my brain says, nah, I've seen this all before. And do you know what? I'm still in the same place I've been for the last 2 months. I'm on the fence. I need to see what this summer does. I have to see what this summer does. I've been saying that for a few months. This isn't me just, there's a lot that Ange does that I totally get where he's trying to take it. I get it. I can see it. There are things that he does that for me, it's a nonsense. Like, no, that is on you. But the underlying factor is, and this will always be the problem I'm going to have as a fan, unless a manager's been given the tools, how can I ever truly judge the manager? Because no manager's ever been given the tools. Do I think Levy's changed? No. Do I think this will all end in tears? Yeah, I think it will. In the end, I do.
After
I want to be like always. I want to be wrong. I always want to be wrong. But the players we're linked with, but again, they're links. That's why you need to see who we actually signed with the links. But I don't think Levy's changed. I don't think he's changed.
Because after we went up to Newcastle, we were literally saying after that game, you know what? These players look like they've checked out, right? Because there was absolutely nothing there. And at one point, I turned around and said to you, look, he's just made subs and they don't know what to do on a pitch.
The subs coming on.
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons why I challenged Matt a little bit, because I failed to see how you can be positive towards a manager that is already seeing these problems. Now you could flip that on me and say, well, yeah, but Maz, what do you want the guy to do? Right? He's trying to change the mentality of the players. He's on an uphill battle to change their mentality, get them playing the way he wants. He's got to work under Levy, right, and all this sort of stuff. But then if he goes and signs Timo, right, and he accepts that level of player, then he's even worse than the previous managers before him, because Conte threw his toys out of the pram. You could tell at the start of last season when he got Longley and Richarlison, you could just tell from the first game he was miserable, right? It's like he didn't get what he wanted for that second season, and you can tell he was checked out from word go with Conte. Jose, he wanted Skriniar, and he got Joe Rodon, So it's like, why are we giving Ange this grace when so far this season everything's pointing to he's just another Levy puppet? Just
I don't believe
nicely to the camera.
I don't believe for 1 second, and I've spoken to the guys I know in the club. I don't believe for 1 second that Ange specifically said, "Get me Bergvall, Feliz, Solomon, Werner, Ashley Phillips." I don't believe that was on him. I think when he was presented with these players and he was told that these are for the future, these are this is our project as a club, he said, all right, as long as you know that's your project, cool, sign them. Timo Werner, that's all you're going to get. It's that or nothing if you want a wide player. Okay. It's better than Berg. It's better than Brian Gill.
Brian Hill.
Yeah. So in that sense, the argument is, you see, there are his signings, but what was the alternative options he was given? That's the discussion that's not being had. That's why I'm just, and my issue is, if he accepts that is the recipe for failure that's cost every previous manager. It's cost every previous manager.
But he also needs to see the proof as well, right? Because so far, what we're almost saying is that he's said yes to your project, Ashley Phillips and people like that, for the Villas and things like that.
Bergvall, Voskovic.
But maybe the people that he's actually asking for could be these ones that Matt's talking about, right? Which will fit more to what he wants, but not your 70 million, 80 million level that Conte wants, right?
Just a question then.
Yeah, but we're up against Man City and Liverpool and Arsenal, who are spending that money on those players.
I know, but we're not going to go and buy 5 positions for 70 million pound players.
No, but JP, we're not saying that. We're saying, buy 1 or 2 for 60, 70, then buy 3 or 4 really well scouted 35, 40 million pound players. But when I'm seeing Szymanski, 20 million, Jimmy Somerville, I don't know how much he is.
We don't
Timo Werner, 15 million. These are, there's only so many Vicarios for 18 million you can buy that are going to work. Most of those cheap buys end up being a disaster. Most of them.
Yeah.
Look, hindsight is a priceless commodity. Yeah. So when Raya all summer was the player that we were going after as a goalie, that was in every social media, every newspaper, everywhere. Raya was the goalie. Nobody mentioned Vicario. Nobody. And then within a week to 10 days, not only was it Vicario, he was signed. There was a meltdown. We were getting laughed at. Got done again. He's gone to Arsenal. Blah, blah, blah. People going on YouTube. He never caught one shot. He spilled every shot, Vicario. The YouTube didn't paint him in any pretty picture. Fast forward 8 months. Wow. So I take your point.
Hold on, Maz. See, this is what we as a fan base do. I think in fact, it's not. I think we do this too often. We've signed 9 players under Ange, right? I'm not even going to say who signed them. We've signed 9. You've picked one of the 3 that have worked out. That's my point. Those other 6, why aren't we talking about them? Instead, we focus on the third. Van der Ven's worked out. Vicario's worked out. That's it.
Maddison.
You can't tell me, has he worked out yet?
Maddison's a good signing. You have to say he's a good signing.
But he hasn't shown it though. Like he's done.
We know he's a good player. He's a good player, but has he turned out as a good signing? So far, for me, it's no.
Listen, he's been bang average recently, but Maddison over.
Yeah, but my point is so how can we call a player that's been bang average a good signing? So I've actually, I'll be honest with you, I'm finding Maddison underwhelming at the moment, and I don't think he's a bad player, but really the only signings that under Ange's era that have come to Spurs that have performed pretty much every game or most weeks are Van der Ven and Vicario. I don't think Maddison has. I don't think Brennan Johnson has. Timo Werner, for me, you know what I think. Bergvall, don't know. Dragusin, he's on the bench. Timo Villas, gone on loan. God knows.
That's
Phillips,
a no, basically.
Phillips, God knows. So we've signed 9 players and only 2, and you've picked one of them. We're saying, you see what happens?
I don't know. I think
Maddison. It's not, I don't know. Argue it. Argue me these 9 players that we've signed. Who's actually turned out good, other than those 2 that I've mentioned?
So I think we got to go in tiers here. Some players have been signed for not right now, which is Villas, Phillips, obviously Bergvall, and the 15 or 16-year-old
Voskovic.
So they're for not right now. You'd have to say I'll say I think Maddison is a good signing. He's had mixed bag, but I would put him as a good signing, especially first 10 games. Injury has curtailed his performances, but those early start of the season, he
all right.
three.
Okay.
Maddison's on par with what he's been doing the last few seasons, almost basically, right?
Okay, yeah. The question marks are who's the ones he signed? Who else did he sign this season?
Bergvall, Timo Werner, Dragusin.
No. Yeah. So Dragusin, difficult, small sample size, difficult to really measure him. He started one game and on the bench for the other one? How many games has he started? 2? Fulham and 2 of the games started.
He started the game after Fulham as well. No. He started one. He's come on for 2 games.
2, yeah. So difficult to gauge him, but pedigree, highly sought after. So I'll reserve judgment on him. I'd like to think that another summer transfer window, and all the whispers I'm hearing is they're going to strike very early in a transfer window. I'd like to think we're going to improve on that. And I think there'll be players that will come in who will be able to actually impact the matchday squad. And I think there'll be some outgoings as well to complement that.
So as in now players, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Johnson hasn't been mentioned.
I said Johnson. Yeah, I said he's...
Yeah. And he's a...
Okay, let's go around. Where are you, JP, on Johnson?
He's one for the future. He's going to be in that future bracket, right? He's not one for now, and I don't believe
for Levy. You wait until another 5 years and a 30-year plan; they'll come good.
Yeah. Anyways, right. Big Della Spurs. Just let's say, kind of like big up and thank you very much for the super chat, my man. So speaking on mentality, do you think the players are motivated to get Champions League? And are there players on this team that want to push themselves to be the very best? Or just waiting for a push from Ange?
Well, Ange came out and publicly said, I don't care about top 4. So how are they going to push for Champions League? Like, I'm just saying, if I'm a player, my manager says, I don't care about top 4. Why would I push for top 4? Why would my mentality be motivated for top 4 if my manager's saying it doesn't matter where we get? It doesn't matter.
If I play devil's advocate on that, I don't think he was saying, I don't care if we.
He's asking.
No, I know, but Ange. I mean, I think he was saying top 4's not the limit or the threshold. I don't think it was in the context of, I don't care where we finish.
But he's saying, no, because he then said, look what happened to Newcastle and Brighton when they finished top 4. They've got worse. So he's saying it doesn't matter where we finish. So if your manager's saying it doesn't matter where we finish, why would the mentality of the players be motivated? These are the words Della Spurs said. Mentality to be motivated to get Champions League. Why is my mindset going to be motivated to get Champions League if my manager's saying it doesn't matter where we finish? It doesn't matter.
It's how we grow, mate.
I'm asking the question back. Like, I don't think my answer is no, because the manager has said it doesn't matter where we finish, because in his head, it's where we finish in next year or the year after. So for this season, I would say the mentality, no, it's not there for Champions League, Della Spurs. I don't think the second part of your question where you say, are these players part of a team that want to push every season? We're going to find out in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
But as it stands for this season, no. For this season, this one season, my answer would be no, they're not motivated because the manager has said it doesn't matter.
I would say my answer is no from what I've seen the last 8 games. They don't seem to have that mentality to go out there and land it down, win that game.
That's a worry, right? Because it's his first season.
First half, and it almost seems that they need a rocket up their arse at half.
With Conte, JP, when Conte came in, you could see there was a hunger to get top 4. They wanted it. You could see it. Even the manager, the way he was behaving. I hope Arteta turns up at our stadium this time. I hope he doesn't back off. He was G'ing it on as well. It was a different. You know, there's a different vibe.
Yep.
If only he stayed that way in it for that second season, but he just gave up. Yeah, I think Danny in the comments said this is
Different approach.
Where's Danny's? He said Danny Kiraku said this is the issue. Some of the current players become top players. By the time the others come good, the players will be sold onto top clubs, and we're back to square one. Yeah, exactly.
Could be.
Exactly.
Could be. And that, look, I think
that's the same while waiting for the FFP to kick in, right?
Yeah.
We wait for the FFP to kick in. When the FFP kicks in, it all don't matter anymore.
This comes back to what Matt said earlier on, right? This is the FFP. And excuse number 5. This is what Matt said earlier on, though. We had the best opportunity we've ever had when we had Kane and Son. Build around them.
Yeah.
And we fucked it. We failed to do it. We failed to build. And do you know what the saddest thing is? The club is 140 years old. And 2 of the top goal-scoring strikers out of the top 5 we've ever had are Son and Kane. We're the 2 greatest in 140 years. And we didn't build around them. We signed Nkudu,
Vincent Janssen,
Ange,
Loriente, Aurier, Doherty. It's criminal.
That's the frustration, that if someone hands you proven stats to say these guys, rain or shine, will guarantee you 50 goals and assists for the next 8 years, half your job's done. Half of your job is done.
If Man United had them 2 or Liverpool had them 2, they'd be like,
you imagine Chelsea owners, Man U owners, Liverpool owners with Kane and Son for 8 years. Imagine what they would have done with that.
Yep. And the sad thing is, no succession planning. You know, one's gone, the other one's going to go in the next season or 2. You know, and who's going to replace him? Anyway.
You're seriously making me not want to renew my ticket, you know.
I'm just a realist, JP. Sorry, mate.
Guys, let's be honest. You're all going to renew, aren't you? Let's be honest.
No.
Silence.
No. Listen, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I never hide away from the truth of what I do. I'm renewing my season ticket for 2 reasons. Well, 3 reasons. 1, if Spurs are ever sold and we actually have an ownership that focuses on trophies, I want to be there and have access to it. 2, if it goes toxic, I need to be on the front line, blowing it up inside the stadium. Yeah, I need to be on the front line, ripping the chairs up. And 3, I've said next season, if the football's like this, it's simple. I'll put all my tickets on the exchange. I'll take that money, put it towards my ticket for the following year. And the big games like the Liverpool, the Arsenal, when I want to day out the Spurs, when the atmosphere is good, I'll go to those games. And to be honest, that's what I've been doing the last month. I didn't go to Palace, sold my ticket. Didn't go to Luton Town. I didn't go to Nottingham Forest. Like an idiot, I went to fucking Newcastle. But I've stopped going to games because I'm bored. I'm genuinely bored of watching us play this season. I'll go to the Arsenal game because it's my favourite game of the season. It's the one game where I just feel, there's a proper rivalry there. But that's what I'm going to do next season. If after like 5, 6, 7, 8 games, it's like this, I'll just put my tickets on the exchange. And believe me, my ticket gets sold like that. I put it on the exchange, and within 3-4 hours, your ticket has been sold. £57 has been transferred to your account. I'm like, who are these people? Who is sitting by themselves in my seat? But the demand's there. The demand is there. And because Levy knows that, he knows he doesn't have to win a trophy because he knows the demand is there regardless. He's got...
There's still 40,000 people waiting, and there's 50,000 people on the waiting list.
90,000 on the waiting list. 90.
Yeah. But listen, we're going to wrap it up, guys. We've been going for almost 3 hours. 300 people watching live. Thank you so much for watching the show tonight. It was a good show, good discussion, plenty of topics covered. We've predicted the Spurs v Arsenal game. You got 2 wins and you got 2 losses, so we're split. So effectively, that means it should be a draw, right? If we're doing basic maths, The average is it's going to be a 2-2. There you go. There's your money. Put your money on it. I want to say a quick thank you to those in the chat tonight who put in super chats. A user with a number of super chats tonight. Thank you so much, A user. William, big up to you as well. Connor at CMO Sports and Della Spurs, as always. Big up to you guys. Thank you to everyone in the live chat who
Thank you very much.
shared your views and opinions. We tried to get through as many of them as we can on the screen. If we missed you out, I'm sorry, guys. Smash a like, subscribe, follow the channel. We will be back on Thursday. I think Mari's doing North London is ours. So the preview to the big one. Matt and I will be back on Friday for the Tottenham Hotspur weekend preview show. And then on the weekend, we will be live on Sunday, 10 p.m. The post-mortem show. the post-mortem. Nah, it'll be the post-match show analysis of Tottenham Arsenal. I'm sure that one's going to be an absolute cracker. Come and join us and Adrian drinking his rum in his bathrobe. Big up, Adrian. He'll be there. Otherwise, final words, JP.
It is. I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Maz, over to you, Maz. Over to you.
Well, you know what?
I feel guilty for making him not want to renew his season ticket.
Everybody wrote us off when we were going to the Emirates to start the season. We'll get done. Your high line, it's going to get absolutely whapped and whopped and beaten left, right, and centre and stuff. Who knows? Same things are being said now. Come on, Tottenham.
Come on, Tottenham. Maz?
Yeah, obviously, I hope we win against Arsenal, and I've got a feeling. I think if we can get a result against Arsenal, I think we might finish the season strong. And if we do that, it'll be a positive season, right? And at least Ange can finish on a high, and we've got something to look forward to next season. So yeah, I hope we win, and let's see what happens.
Matt, final words from you.
Listen, really tough game. That's what we're here for. We're here to play in the big football matches. Hopefully we get a positive result. Hopefully 3 points. Let's see what happens. Thank you for the invite. I wonder how Iggy's feeling after the Milan result. But thanks for the invite, guys. Really enjoyed it.
Always welcome. Always welcome. Guys, thank you for watching the show. Smash a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You know what to do. We'll be back during the week. We'll be active on the socials as always. And sad about Pochettino losing that semi-final. It's a shame that he lost. Unlucky Poch. I saw that on social media. I was in hysterics. I was like, I've got to take that for the show. I thought that is absolute genius whoever's done that. Anyway, guys, enjoy yourselves. Have a good week. We'll be back later on in the week for the rest of the shows building up to the North London derby. Peace. Have a good one. And we are out of here. Stay safe.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.